Ooh, man. Always sounds so good in my ears. It's never loud enough. The Friday intro. Space Hog in the meantime. Good morning, everybody. Ben and Woods, 97.3 The Fan. Happy Friday to you. We made it. And glad to be here with you. I'm Woodsy. That's Paul Reindl, the executive producer. Good morning, Paulie.
Good morning.
And Ben Higgins, your friendly neighborhood sports anchor, is here as well. Good morning to you, Benjamin.
Good morning, everybody.
What a beautiful thing that just happened in our YouTube chat. You can follow us on YouTube. Go subscribe. And Alex Money, literally, in the chat just gifted 5 Ben and Woods memberships, like subscriptions, which is really, really cool. So thank you for that, Alex. That's a really sweet and kind gesture on a Friday. Must be a Giving Friday. All right, Ben, give me $50.
No.
Come on, man. What are you doing? Let's keep the good vibes going. I have an idea. So I wanted to run this by you guys. So I got a Seals game tonight, right? And it's a big one. It's a playoff game out at Pechanga Arena, San Diego. We gave away some tickets last night on Instagram and Twitter. Looking forward to seeing all you folks out there. So last week, when the Blue Jays were in town playing the Padres, right, 2 weeks ago,
Yes.
Dane Doby, who is our Hall of Fame forward, he's incredible. Now, he's a Canadian dude, loves the Blue Jays. So I'm walking into the arena. He goes, "Hey, I got the Blue Jays." I go, "All right, $20. And he goes, "All right, if anybody sweeps, it's 40." I go, "Deal." Well, Padres lost 2 of 3. So I show up last week before the game, fresh, crisp $20 bill in hand. Walk up to Dobes. He goes, "Oh, yeah." Takes the $20, puts it in his sock, continues his warm-up. He scores the first goal of the game, and he scores the game winner in overtime. Now, I paid off my bet, but I'm thinking pretty seriously today. When I see him, I'm just going to hand him a $20 bill. But I don't owe him anything. The debt is squared. But I'm also a very superstitious person. I'll be wearing the exact same outfit I wore last week when we won our playoff game. I need to walk up to him and give him a $20 bill, right? Just to keep. And again, he scored the first goal and the last goal of the game. And I'm like, you know what? It's worth $20 to me. Again, I don't owe him anything. We didn't bet anything, but I want to keep the good vibes going, as we just talked about.
Why not just bet him on the current Blue Jays series? Say, all right, another 20 on the Blue Jays series.
No, because they're not playing the Padres, but I just feel like I need to give him $20, like as a little incentive and to keep things the same.
You don't want to ride with the Nationals this weekend.
It's probably about as safe as bet as the Padres were, to be honest. So I think I am. I think I'm just going to walk up to him, surprise him, give him a 20.
How much do those guys make anyway?
Not a lot, man.
I mean, I know it's not Major League Baseball or NBA type money.
Let's put it this way.
He's like maybe the best player in the league.
Yeah, he's one of the highest paid, I do believe. And I think Caitlin Clark makes like $30,000 more than him. So, yeah, it's not a lot. Which, again, is look, I certainly appreciate the guy that makes $30 million a year because you put asses in the seats and you are an extreme talent. But when I watch these guys play that are firefighters and insurance salesmen and, dental assistants and whatever else they do on the weekends, when I watch them play, they're not playing for money. And it's very obvious because they don't make any. They are literally playing for love of sport, city, team. It's really refreshing. I mean, I love the big sports and the big money, and it's great, and guys should get paid. But when you watch guys playing almost 100% for love of the game, it's pretty refreshing in its own right. And to watch how hard they play, the abuse they take out there is pretty special. So, hey, what's an extra $20? I mean, let's be honest. Guy could probably use an extra $20. And if he gets me 2 goals tonight and another dub, I'm pretty happy because that means I get another game check out of it.
All right, you've convinced me.
Yeah, sold.
Yeah. The only problem is if they keep winning, it's a lot of 20s starting to add up.
Yeah, it is. But, again, worth it. It's like, would you pay $20 for a Padres victory in a playoff game? The answer is unequivocally yes. Every single time.
That's true.
I mean,
probably the whole fan base.
Bro, 100%.
If you're going to the game.
I'm going to work. I'm working the game.
You're already buying, 4 tickets, parking, hot dogs, whatever. If you could just add on a $20, extra charge to make sure that they won, I don't know a fan that wouldn't do that, especially for a playoff game, even a regular season game.
Bro, no kidding.
Just to make sure they won when you go, yeah. Here's the surcharge for a victory.
Done.
Well. Check. I'll check that box. It's worth it. That's the best feeling when you go to a game. They actually win. You feel good as you're walking out of the ballpark with everybody else. I mean, Yeah, it's kind of sucks when you go to a game and then everyone's quietly shuffling out of the park after another loss, and you kind of lose some of the good feeling you had when you went.
It's the weirdest thing, too, because if I didn't give him $20 tonight and they lost, I would 100% blame myself. If I wore, different shoes that I wore last week, I would feel 100% responsible. I want to make sure my side of the street
Right.
is very clean. And so I know, hey, you guys, asked the bed tonight. I had nothing to do with it. I paid my $20. I wore the same outfit. I'm ready to go. I'll be prepared. So, yeah, 100%. Matt says, don't give the Padres any ideas for a victory surcharge. They win, and then they bang your credit card on the way out the door. They can do that now, too. They know you're in the ballpark.
But there should be a loss rebate as well.
Ooh.
I think we've hit on something for any professional sports team. Whatever you pay. You pay, but then at the end, if your team loses, you get
Some of it
$20
back.
knocked off. They refund your card, or if they win, they get to charge you an extra $20 at the end of the night.
That's not your worst idea by a long stretch. You know what else is not a terrible idea is this. Today's National No Pants Day. I was kicking it around in here, and I thought, well, we could do our show pantsless, the three of us. Couple problems with it. Number one, it's very cold in here. Very cold. We're all in, except, man, I don't know how he does it, but we're in jackets, and I got a warm hoodie on, and I think it would be very freeing to do the show no pants-wise. Now, you may be wondering, too, HR, could we really be sitting around in our underwear? There's no one here on Friday. It's a ghost town in this building. There's an engineer, but he's way back there.
Everybody working hard or hardly working over there?
That's right. Yeah, there's every studio is dark. You can't see a soul. No one's here.
I actually saw tumbleweeds going through the sales area.
Sales staff is not. They don't work on Fridays because why would they? Radio's in such a good spot. Why would you work on Mondays and Fridays in the office? You'd be fine. We make so much money. We don't need to be here Mondays and Fridays. The other shows, I don't know what they do. I think they may be out on remote or something, but it's only us.
It's cold.
It is
What about the
cold.
chairs? They're not that comfortable. Then again, you did one show pantsless in our past, in a diaper.
And that was in your parents'
which had the
home.
least comfortable chairs
The wicker.
in the Corona Cave.
It's funny that your parents got those from one of the places where they used to torture people in Spain in the 1600s. And those were antique chairs that they brought in. And we remember the pillows I used to have to stack.
We're like pulling off the couch, like, which of us can steal more pillows to try to make this chair
I would get there early.
bearable for our 4-hour show?
I would get there early, and I'd stack chairs like a foot high, and I'd be sitting on all these pillows.
Look how young you looked back then.
Look
that
at
was
that.
That was pandemic, so that would have been 2020.
Look how thin I was.
That was, I can tell you exactly when it was. It was mid to late August of 2020, the pandemic baseball season. Slam Diego.
Ah, that's right.
You made the bet. There's no way the Padres will hit 4 Grand Slams in 4 games.
Right.
And they did.
Hosmer got me.
The last one.
Last one.
Tatis hit the 3-0 Grand Slam. That started it, right?
Started
and then they had
Yes.
3 straight
Crony,
days.
Hosmer. Was it Kimmy? Did he get one?
No, I want to say Will Myers.
Will Myers,
Yeah,
maybe. Yeah.
Grisham, maybe.
Yeah, it was funny, and it was cold though. It was very, very cold, and but no pants day is an actual thing in here. Also, wanted to take a moment.
So are we taking our pants off or not?
I mean, I'll do it once it warms up in here a little bit. Would you do a pantsless show
With no one else in here?
Then no one's here.
Sure, why not?
Yes.
All right, now we're talking.
Now we're talking. That's
Now
how
it's
you do it.
Friday.
Now it's Friday.
Ladies and gentlemen, the weekend.
Yeah.
Like, what is
Get
it?
weird.
Where did that day even come from? Some pervert decided, hey, let's just make it no
I
pants.
mean, in a
day.
lot of countries, when you say no pants, that just means you're wearing
With
shorts
shorts.
as opposed to long pants or jeans.
Well, we're all wearing.
Which I do most days anyway. I did yesterday during our round table. I was wearing shorts. Today, happened to be wearing pants. I didn't know it was no pants day.
I didn't know either. But I'm happy to pull mine off. I'm in some nice boxer briefs. I got a couple of shout outs I'd like to do. Shout out SD, certainly. Shout out my brother. Shout out SD again.
Shout out Escondido.
Shout out Escondido.
Shout out to his family.
Shout out to his family. No shout out to his family today, as far as I know. But our beloved Josh Gorel, who lives in Dallas, his son Grayson. Now, this is crazy. He turns 3 years old today. I remember the day he was born. We announced it on the air. He's one of our favorite tier ones. Grayson, 3 years old today. Strap in, Josh. This is the worst year for children you'll ever have. The terrible threes. We are in it right now. Three-nager. Taylor is a straight-up nightmare about 80% of the time. So you thought twos were rough? Threes are a mother blank.
Does every age have its name?
No.
Do the terrible twos become the terrible threes?
They turn into three-nagers and at three.
Then
after that.
Effing four. The mother effing fours.
4 was fine. 5's fine. 6 is a little rough.
7 to 9
It's pretty chill.
is kind of
cool.
You got to keep an eye on him
right,
still.
yeah.
But
Ben's gone through the gauntlet now
Yeah.
already. What's the sweet spot?
yeah, I think
Like
7,
a 2 to 3
8,
year
9.
range. 7, 8, 9.
Yeah, right around there is
I'm almost
where
there for one.
where they're still gullible enough to be well behaved, but too small to really get into a ton of trouble.
Yeah.
That's kind of the sweet spot, and then it gets kind of harder again.
Then you get closer to puberty.
Yeah, well then
and-
then you start getting into kind of the emotional issues
Yeah.
of puberty and teenageism and just the real problems that are different from it's never as physically exhausting as it is the first 4 to 5 years.
No.
Those are the most physically exhausting years. Then it becomes more of a mental challenge later on, just worrying and trying to figure things out that's just constantly difficult as well.
There's a lot of there's a lot of navigation that goes along with it, and it's navigating the school, it's navigating the work they have to do, it's navigating the other kids. You hear the stories when they get in the car. Oh, you'll never believe what so and so did today, and I'm driving going, he did what? Like no, he really did. I'm like, is everybody okay? Are you okay? I mean, yeah, you're terrified. But Josh, year 3 is a little bit rough. But Grayson, happy birthday, buddy, from Ben and Woods here. And, of course, I can't let the opening segment go by without wishing my father, Gary Woods, a very happy 69th birthday. 69, my friend.
boy,
A very
Gary.
nice birthday.
Real age or bit?
No, it's real age.
It's real age.
Well, he didn't want to say it this morning when I called him to wish him happy birthday. So he said, last year in my 60s. And I go, 69, because I'm 6.
Nice.
Yeah, and love him very much. And he's a great, great father, great grandfather. And just happy birthday, Dad. I know you're listening.
Happy birthday, Dad.
The biggest fan we have, certainly, is my dad, Gary. And love you very much. And I'm going to cry. So
Congratulations.
Just the best dude.
I
And,
mean, we all hope to make it to 69.
No doubt. No doubt. I'd sign up for it today.
Nice.
That's 21 more years. I absolutely hope to
Not
make
that
it to
far
60.
away.
It's
You're
really
catching,
not.
You're catching up with him
I know.
quickly, is what I said this morning.
I know. He is a legend, an absolute legend. Love you, Dad.
All right, foreplay complete. We will get into it. Of course, this is a Friar Friday after a day off yesterday. The Padres on the road today. We'll get you set for everything, lay out our menu, what we have on the show today coming up. Next, glad to have you all with us. Paul Reindl, Stephen Woods, Ben Higgins. It's Ben and Woods on a Friday morning on San Diego's #1 sports station. Hopefully traffic is okay early today. We'll see how it's going with Kelly Danick. And then back next on 97.3 The Fan. Any comments, thoughts, ways I could improve on the roundtable from yesterday?
Huh. You hit me with the surprise question.
I thought
You did a great
I
job.
thought it went pretty well yesterday. I enjoyed us going around and saying what we thought was the most pleasant surprise of the first month of the season.
Yeah.
Each one of us came up with a different answer, which kind of goes to show you there's actually been quite a bit of unexpected goodness to the San Diego Padres so far in 2024. Not enough to, have them have a winning record at
Right.
this point, but there has been some good things that have happened to the San Diego Padres early in the season.
Yeah, I mean, you go down the list of Profar and Robert Suarez and Yuki Matsui and who else?
Jake
was it?
Cronenworth was my choice.
Jackson Merrill,
Yeah.
and no, he's scuffling a little bit right now.
Dylan
but
Cease was mentioned.
Dylan Cease has been a really nice surprise. Again, guy pitches in Chicago, and you hear, oh man, Dylan Cease, another good outing. He looks really good. Really different when he's on your squad, and that Philly's getting everybody right now, so I'm not too worried about that one. But he has been outstanding. I mean, the way he pitched at Coors was ungodly, like one of the best pitching performances I've ever seen. So yeah, a really nice surprise, and of course he's going to be on the towing the slab this evening, Ben, and needs to set the tone as we talked about on the roundtable. But again, I know I get painted in the corner that I don't like the roundtable. I actually do like the roundtable a lot. I like hanging with Ello and Elston and Annie. Have a good time doing it. I love when Tony's there. Just having a guy like that to bounce ideas off of. And it feels so good when he acknowledges, it's a great point you made. You know what I mean? Because he did it. He did it at the highest level. He grew up around one of the top 5 baseball players of all time. So it is a lot of fun to do the roundtable. It's just the time. I'm just wiped after, and I'm wiped when we start. But other than that, man, I love the idea and really have a blast, and you kill it moderating.
We all had pretty positive reviews of Mike Shilt's first month as the manager of the San Diego Padres. Of course, this is a Friday, and Mike Shildt will join us for the manager's report coming up at 9 o'clock today. And I'd say if you like when Tony Gwynn says, that's a good point.
Yeah.
Mike Shildt is also good about that with reporters.
He is.
It's I think it's probably a bit of a strategy, get them to eat out of your hand a little bit. He goes, he says that many times in a question, it's a really astute point. I'm glad you brought that up. That's a good observation. He'll say that a lot in his
What's up, my
post-game.
dudes? How you doing?
Hey, Mike, how
In
are you?
his
But you're a little
post-game,
early.
News conferences after games when a reporter asks a question and feels like, that's something I'm glad you brought up about the game. It's probably a tactic, but I think an effective one for a skipper who has to deal with the media as often as Major League Baseball managers do.
Well, there's, and we'll talk a little bit more in today's program about media and the importance of media, the way that some media.
We are very, very important.
No, we think we are. We think we are. Most people in our chairs really, really fancy themselves as some bastion of intelligence and honor. But, listen, I do think it's an interesting conversation based on something that happened in the NBA last night. And Paulie's got the audio. We'll play it. Pat Beverly. I didn't like this, man. I thought this was out of pocket.
Pat Beverly, probably we just spend the whole don't do this.
We honestly could do the
he
whole.
Had multiple don't do this.
He really did. I mean.
It was kind of a banner day for don't do this for Patrick Beverly.
For Pat Beverly.
I do think many people in the media take themselves too seriously. Probably me, one of them at some points.
Yeah, that's fair.
And there's a lot that doesn't need to be done. There's a lot of eyewash in the media.
Yeah.
But at the same time, if it just disappeared and you didn't have the daily coverage of your team,
man,
you would miss it. Really, you'd miss it a lot, I think.
I think so too. You wonder there'd be a nice little period where you finished up a game, and let's just go with baseball because that's what we talk about most, right? Guys finish up a game, get a huge dub, walk-off win. There's no Sammy there to interview after the game. There's nobody at your locker. You walk down into the clubhouse. That was awesome. There's no one waiting. You shower, you put your clothes on, you go to the ballpark. I bet you there'd be a little period where you actually enjoyed it. The
I don't know
quiet.
that they'd really be that upset about it.
I think after a while, though. Of not covering your team. I mean, you can write your story in the paper. You can do your radio show. You can do your blog about it, your podcast. But I do think that the good ones, they realize, well, we need them too. We need interest in this team. There's 40,000 people in that ballpark. I'll be honest with you. It's not because of your win-loss record, okay? It's not. over the last couple of years. It's because people have done a good job at drumming up interest in your team, and the owner, got some good players. And I really think, hey, listen, because at the end of the day, every one of these guys, they got shoes they got to sell. They got campfire sets that they want to sell. They got everything that they want to sell. Who can help you with that? The media.
Fernando Tatis Jr. doesn't wear custom shoes just to be cool.
Right.
It's a marketing deal with
Correct.
a company that's hoping to sell some shoes at some point.
Yeah, how good is your marketing without the media?
Right.
Not very. It's not very. So, listen, it's, a lot of people look at it as a necessary evil. A lot of people look at it as, oh, this is absolutely important. I think Mike Shildt falls in that category where, hey, man, I don't think he's not being genuine. I think this is who he is. And we always say it about guys in sports. They get it. There are some guys that get it, and there's some guys that don't. Mike Shildt gets it. He gets it.
We'll talk about it a little in context of Pat Beverly coming up in our 7 o'clock hour. Don't Do This. We'll play a little Take on Woods. Last chance before we have a new prize starting next week to qualify for that trip to Las Vegas. And the Cool and the Gang tickets coming up at 8 o'clock. It is a Cespedes Family Barbecue Friday as well. Jake Mintz will be our guest this week. We'll talk baseball. We'll do the Randall Report a little bit early at 8:35. I'm sure we'll talk a little bit about the NBA playoffs. Another great game between the Knicks and Sixers. I'm almost sad. Didn't care about that series when it started. Now I'm kind of sad that it's over because every game was special and spectacular and had drama and excitement, and that included last night's clincher Game 6 for the New York Knicks.
Philly was down almost 30 points when I went to go play Tier 1 basketball yesterday.
And then they were up like
and I
10.
checked my phone after the game. I'm like, they're down 2.
And then they were down 8, and then they came back to tie it. And it was a thrilling basketball series, no doubt about it. So probably somewhere in the Roundel Report there. And then, of course, as I said, Mike Shildt at 9 o'clock will also be, of course, previewing the Padres Diamondbacks series that gets underway this evening from Chase Field, 6:40. First pitch, Eco Water SoCal pregame show at 5:40 with Sam Levitt and a big series for your San Diego Padres. In fact, why don't we start with that in our next segment, looking ahead to what the Padres are facing on this road trip, beginning with 3 in the Valley of the Sun.
Actually, I think we're going to start somewhere else.
Okay.
I don't know when we were going to do this, but we were given some absolute gold.
Some gold fell out of the sky last night from one of the Tier 1s.
I promise you we have time for all of it.
We do have time for all of it. Like, what did Dion say? I got time today. We, Ben and Woods, we also got time today.
Pants still on, at least at the moment, with Ben and Woods on a Friday on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
Before we get into the big preview that you guys have been waiting for this massive series against the Arizona Diamondbacks, Benjamin got a tweet last night from one of our beloved Tier 1s, and I believe it was the Guzzinator, and he said, somebody in the Ben and Woods Discord, and there is a Ben and Woods Discord. We were in it for a time, and I got out because I don't want to read. I love you guys, but that's for you. That's for the audience. It's not for me to be in there moderating.
Like, I have the Discord app.
Me too.
I just don't.
I don't look at it.
Go in there very often. It's not intentional.
Mine's intentional.
Forget.
I don't.
It feels like work.
Well, it does, but I also stopped searching out negative comments. I just stopped. And if there's negativity in there, I don't want to see it. It's like Adam.
Is there negativity in there?
No, there may not be. I just stopped looking for it.
You spend all day on Twitter, but you won't.
Right. But what I don't do is I don't search for negative stuff anymore. Right?
Obviously, I am on social media less than even you guys. I probably should be on it more and responding to the audience. But I do believe that there needs to be a place that's just for the Tier 1s.
So then,
that we're not part of it.
Yeah.
Good, bad, whatever. You're a community out there as well.
Correct.
And you get to have your own space.
At least it says there's no negativity in there.
Okay, good. That's fine.
This is the family.
All right, good. All right. Well, and even if there is, that's a good place for it. So,
But yes, Mark in the Discord chat, and I believe he actually messaged me. I need to double check because, again, I don't open Discord very often, but we were sent something yesterday.
I listened to about 15 seconds and said, that'll play.
I listened to the entire thing.
And we'll play it on the air for you right now.
I like a juicy, sweet strawberries. I like a good marching band. I like a good thin pancake.
Sounds familiar.
I like a Nickelback song or two. I like a barbecue chicken pizza. I really like those seeds. I like a midnight buffet. I kind of like the smell of soft scrub, like more of a small derriere. I like cake, I like it. I like both the hamburger and a cheeseburger. I like clocks, I like how I've kind of set up my life. I like grasshopper pie, oh no. I like a creamy. I like good firm banana. I like just looking out the sea. I like moist. I like curry. I like big butts. I like fried Brussels sprouts. I like more of a firm feel like popcorn. I like Nordstrom. I do love musicals. I like pepperoni. I like nice hotels. I like Nick getting the start today. I like nuts, Steph Curry. Steph Curry, I like that song.
That's amazing.
I like Squirt.
Oh.
I like steak, I like San Diego State. I like a straight up Paul Abdul. I like the beef and broccoli. I like to mix it up. I like sign experiments. I like that song. I like the crispiness of the waffle. I really like cheese. I like the little lunch meat.
You know what it reminds me of? It's a song that Billy Bean's daughter would sing in Moneyball. That's the vibe that I got. The Things Ben Likes folk version.
I had wondered what Bananarama had been up to since the 1980s, and now we know what they're doing, just putting together custom pieces.
Based on your lyrics.
Apparently so.
Yeah, so that was the,
I assume that was AI? Is that
is
that something you can do now with artificial intelligence?
Apparently.
Create songs.
Apparently.
Just put in some words, and they will spit out a catchy tune.
It's kind of a banger, actually, as the kids say.
Although I like to picture people actually in a recording studio
playing,
handed.
singing.
Here's your lyrics.
Here's your lyrics.
Here's the tune. Let's go. Let's come up with a good song of things Ben likes.
I loved that. It really, it's good for a Friday. It puts you in a good mood. That was really brilliant. Thank you guys for doing that, Mark. And I loved it. And I'd like to hear the death metal version. I'd like to hear every version of things Ben likes that are available to be made. So, yeah,
Unbelievable.
Very, very well done.
And it's kind of like scary, actually.
It is.
About the box of possibilities that opens.
Yeah. Don't know if I like it or not, but I know that song made me happy.
Like,
so.
I'm pretty out on AI, which I realize is Not great because that kind of is the direction we as a society are heading. But man, I loved that.
That really made me happy. Cole said, I had that playing on my phone last night. I truly did not know how to explain what it was to my wife when she asked. Well, it's just a new folk song. The new Taylor Swift, if you will.
The Chicks.
Yeah.
I
Things
like a juicy, sweet strawberry.
things that Ben likes.
Your call on Billy Bean's daughter.
It is.
in
I'm
Moneyball.
just a little bit caught in the middle. That's great. That's great, babe. That's beautiful. Beautiful.
You know, that entire movie works without her, too.
1,000 million billion %. It's the pee break for me when I'm like, oh, here she is, and I run to the bathroom and take a leak and come back and it's over. It's unnecessary. That whole part, it was just wedged in there. We didn't need it. Stay with Scott Hatteberg.
Were they trying to humanize
I guess.
maybe the character a little bit as a dad?
Didn't need his ex-wife and
Bro, I will say, the scene with the ex-wife and the new husband, when he goes, yeah, she did get a cell phone, and we can discuss it. He goes, her mother and I will discuss it. Thank you. It just lays me out every time. Now, that one I do love.
What do you
Her
say,
mother
like,
and I will discuss it. Don't worry about
That
it.
was too bad that you guys lost
Jimbino?
Jimby. Thanks.
He's such a jerk in that movie, and I love it. I actually watched it last night with Bo, and I go, I need to be more like Billy Bean. I need to be more direct, and I'm very soft and get walked all over. So that's the new direction.
My wife writes in the chat,
Of
"You're
words.
such a loser, Dad. You're such a loser, Dad."
so
Like that
good.
whole song at the end of the movie, you're like, what are we doing? What is this?
It's terrible. Didn't need it. All right, let's get into the Padres, or
Yes,
CBS
check-
121 is going to vomit in his hands.
We'll check some
Padres,
traffic and then
sports.
look ahead to the series that starts tonight, coming up next here on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 97.3 The Fan Traffic Center, here's Kelly Danick.
Pretty quiet on our roads at this time. There is one crash out in the Alpine area. It's a solo vehicle accident westbound 8 before Tavern Road. Looks like this vehicle is facing the wrong way in the fast lane, so tow truck is rolling up to help out with that. It's West 8 before Tavern Road. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben and Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
Well, speaking of CBS 121, says the Padres should be able to win 2 of 3 this weekend. Well, let's set some lofty goals. Why don't we? The Padres visiting the Arizona Diamondbacks, your defending National League champions. First matchup against the Diamondbacks since they did the whole World Series thing unexpectedly last October.
I like that, the whole World Series thing.
None of us were picturing the Arizona Diamondbacks making that run
What
to
a
the
run.
World Series.
What a run. You got to tip your cap.
Looked like the Phillies were the team, and then all of a sudden the Phillies stopped playing well, and the Diamondbacks were just sitting there going, I guess it's us now, because it's not going to be Philadelphia. So they have gotten off to a pretty slow start. They're 4 games under 500. They are in 4th place in the National League West. They've yet to get great contributions from some of their offseason acquisitions. Health has been a big issue as well for the Arizona Diamondbacks so far, but they've also experienced some of those symptoms of the hangover. Corbin Carroll not off to a good start after a terrific rookie season, the old sophomore type of slump, that a lot of players do experience at points. And I have no doubt that he'll figure it out and he'll be fine. He's got too much talent. He's a good ball player. But right now they're in a bit of the torture chamber. You're catching them hopefully at a good moment if you're the San Diego Padres. We say that a lot of times.
We
and
do.
It does seem like the Padres oftentimes are the team that fixes the other team once they're in a bad moment. You don't want to be that team right now. We talked about it on the roundtable yesterday. You will have to play them 3 more series after this. This is a good opportunity to go in, as CBS said, take 2 out of 3 from the Arizona Diamondbacks at Chase Field. You have not had a lot of success there historically. None of the pitching matchups are overly scary. Zach Gallen has been bumped out of his start that was supposed to be today. He will be replaced by Slade Ciccone, or Ciccone. I'm not even sure how it's pronounced. He's certainly got a decent ERA, but it's only in a couple of starts. Tomorrow, Michael King will pitch against Brandon Pfaadt, who struck out, I think, 11,
He
didn't
did
he, in
in
his
his
last
last
start?
start, yeah.
4.63 ERA, but coming off a really good performance. And then Matt Waldron, Ryan Nelson in the final game on Sunday. All of these should be winnable for the San Diego Padres. They take 2 out of 3. You're doing something right. You're very happy with the results of this series in Arizona.
Yeah, the offense has been okay for the Arizona Diamondbacks, kind of looking at their numbers. I mean, 4th in runs scored, Benny, 6th in OBP, 8th in batting average. I mean, it's not world beater stuff. Pitching is really where they've scuffled this year.
But it's been very Padres-like this year for them.
It has.
Like 2023 Padres. I think in 3 of the games, 3 of their wins, they've outscored their opponents like 47-3 or something.
So feast or famine
and
for
the
them.
rest of the games, they've struggled to score. They've lost a lot of close ones. Their run differential is fantastic. It's like plus 26. They should be 4 or 5 games over 500, and instead they're 4 games under 500 because it's been feast or famine for the Arizona Diamondbacks this year. Couple of feast games, a lot more famine games consistently this season for their offense.
Looks like they just acquired Matt Bauman from the Twins.
DFA pickup.
Okay, picked him up. He
Yeah.
was 0-0, 7 2/3 innings, 6 Ks, 2.35 ERA for the Twins. They picked him up to help bolster their bullpen. So, yeah, man, it feels fairly evenly matched between these two teams, right? I do feel like there's definitely an advantage pitching-wise for the Padres, at least in the first couple games. We beat him, I think, the first time, and then he absolutely shoved. Or was it the other way? Is he the one that almost threw a no-hitter against us? One of these guys did throw a
Someone
no-hitter.
did throw it.
Was it Ryan Nelson?
He didn't,
I don't remember.
No, it was neither of them who threw the no-hitter. But Fott did have a couple of good starts down the stretch. Now, at the time, we were going, this is a nobody. What are you doing? And then Brandon Fott went on and had a really good postseason and kind of broke out, and everyone's going, oh, this guy's actually a pretty decent
really good.
pitcher. It wasn't quite as humiliating as we thought when they were struggling against Brandon Fott last season. But, yeah, we'll see. It's you always have those situations when you face a guy like tonight that you haven't seen before, and I don't think the Padres have seen tonight's starter before, that it can go 2 different directions. Sometimes the first time you get a look at him, you don't have the experience, you don't have the look on the pitcher so far, but other times, you get a guy and you just happen to do well against him. So a little bit unexpected and not sure what's going to happen. We do need to see Dylan Cease, who's been really good, 3-2 with a 2.7 ERA, bounce back from his rough start against the Phillies his last time out. I don't know that having a rough start against the Phillies is necessarily, a big crime in Major League Baseball. They were a hot team. They're a good team. Got a great offense. They got him a couple of times. Not the end of the world. Both Darvish has come back. Joe Musgrove bounced back from a bad start against the Phillies. It's now Dylan Cease's turn to do that tonight, and I fully expect him to have a pretty good outing tonight to start this after the day off. They had 13 games in 13 days. Should be refreshed. Should be ready to go for the game tonight, looking for a 3rd straight victory.
A big dude tonight that we're facing, Slade Ciccone, Ben. He's off to a good start, as you mentioned. But, look, he's, let's see. He's got a fastball. Guys are batting 118 against it and slugging 176 against Ciccone's fastball. So, yeah, I mean, I think Padres also, I feel like they always have their work cut out for them. There's really no days off in the big leagues for the most part. And they're such an unpredictable team. You really don't know what Padres offense is going to show up. The one thing I will say is, nice to get first ups tonight. Try to set the tone early against this kid and score some runs early for Dylan Cease and really, try to take control of this series in game 1. I mean, Dylan Cease is your ace, and you need him to pitch like an ace tonight, and you need our superstars to be superstars this weekend.
Padres have been better on the road than they have been at home so far this season.
Yep.
And I was floored by the stat. You talked about getting off to a fast start. I did not realize, I think until yesterday, that Wednesday's game was the first time all season that the Padres gave up a run in the top of the first and came back to win the game.
Wow.
Every other time they gave up a first-inning run, they ended up losing. But Joe Musgrove gave up the home run to Spencer Steer. Padres did come back to win that game on Wednesday.
Well, and I said it on the roundtable yesterday, Corbin Carroll is a great baseball player. You don't want to be the team that gets him going, right? Because he's not really firing on all cylinders right now. And that they're going to, I don't know what their numbers are as far as running goes, but they were talking about it on the broadcast last week when they were previewing this series, Ben. Do you remember them last year, how much they ran? I mean, they ran and ran and ran. And let's be honest, the Padres are a team that you can run on. So expect if they do get on, they're probably going to be moving. That's the brand of baseball.
They did a fairly good job containing the Reds, who have Ellie De La Cruz and some other runners as well.
He didn't even attempt a stolen base at all.
He had a couple. He was only on base a couple of times, hit the home run in the first game, and then he was only on base a couple other times, and I feel like there was first pitch swings after that, so he didn't really have the opportunity to go after stolen bases, but he came into the series with like 17 of them and did not even attempt a stolen base. So don't know if the pitchers or catchers, if they've made any adjustments at that point, but they did do a better job controlling the running game of the Cincinnati Reds in this last series. They'll have to do the same thing against the Arizona Diamondbacks. You always know when a team is struggling, like the Diamondbacks have done, they tend to want to make things happen by stealing bases.
They're
do
not
some hit and
running.
runs.
They're not running a ton right now. The Reds actually run more than anybody else in baseball. Diamondbacks are 20th in the league in attempts. Padres actually running a lot more than the Diamondbacks. So maybe they changed their personnel a little bit. They've added some pop to their lineup with Suarez and guys like that. But they're not running at the frenetic pace that they were last year.
Do you feel like that the Padres have? Is it just in our mind, or do you feel like they have changed their style of baseball?
I do.
From last season under Mike Shildt,
and I think they had
different
to.
Combination of players.
Yeah, I think they had to, and I think they absolutely have. And I think when you have guys at the bottom of your order that are just trying to make things happen and get on and contact guys like Jackson Merrill and Tyler Wade, guys that have a little speed, yeah, you have to be a different team.
Well, they do have players with more speed. When you have Tyler Wade as your either DH or third baseman,
instead of Carpenter
Matt
or Cruz.
Carpenter or Nelson Cruz,
right.
it lends itself to putting more guys in motion and running some more. I do remember, though, early last season, Bob Melvin wasn't really doing anything. He was just throw out the lineup, let
wait
them
for a 3-run
think
homer.
They're going to mash,
and
then it didn't happen. And they did start, actually, trying to be more aggressive and running. And I don't know that it actually helped them necessarily win more games, but there was a conscious effort at some point to do more of that, to be a more active baseball team. This year, it seemed more natural, though, from the outset. I don't know if that's a Mike Shildt thing or just these are the players that they've got thing.
It's funny,
you've
though.
seen a team that is more aggressively looking to take opportunities on the base path.
Well, and last year the Diamondbacks finished second in swipes. Padres were top 10. Padres were number 9.
That surprises me.
In steals with 137, got caught 32 times. Diamondbacks stole 166 bags, only getting caught 26 times, tied for the lowest in baseball. So they were really smart when they did it, and it obviously worked. I mean, they made it to the World Series. They had a brand of baseball. They may have gotten away from it a little bit, and it may be injury dependent as well. And guys get older. I don't know why, but I know when you add power to your lineup, you're more reluctant to try to steal bags because you got guys up there that can actually hit the ball out of the ballpark. So, but yeah, they were firing last year on all cylinders. Don't let them find their footing this weekend and roll you for 3 games or 2 games. Don't let them get hot, and you continue to stay hot because you won 2 in a row. Every time this happened last year, every time we'd win 2 in a row, we'd have a friggin' off day. Every single time.
I want to ask Mike Shildt about that because we've seen this team do many things that last year's team didn't do. Score big innings. They've had more 4-run innings already this season than they had almost all of last year. They have they've come from behind to win some games.
Yep.
Their record in 1-run games is better. They still haven't won more than 3 in a row, though.
Right.
And I think they've only done that once. They're going for 3 tonight. I want to ask Mike Shildt, what is it that puts a long winning streak together? Is there something more than just playing consistent baseball? What is it when a team really gets hot? Because he managed a team that won 17 in a row to get to the playoffs. We haven't seen anything like that here. Feels like in 5 or 6 years almost, a team that got that hot.
Yeah, I mean, the Marlins just won their 3rd game in a row yesterday, swept the Rockies, forcing a team meeting for the Rockies. Is that kind of a waste of time?
The Rockies have not won since they came back from 9-4 against the Padres in the bottom of the 8th inning.
It's fantastic.
Like you thought, this is going to spark something good for them.
No. So
it was
happy
just
we could help
It was a
contribute.
random blip in the radar there.
So yeah, Marlins and Padres are tied with 3 wins apiece. Is their top?
Their
for
cap.
sure. Yeah,
their
cap.
win streak cap. All right, we'll come back. Play some Take on Woods on a Friday. Also, another big acquisition for the SDSU basketball program. It's all next year on the Fan. Just heard the voice of Brian Dutcher in one of our promos there at the top of the hour. I feel like college basketball coach, especially in this day and age, would be such a grind of a job.
I think it always was, but
It
really
always was, but
Let me ask you a
with the
question.
transfer portal now just revved up to unbelievable degrees, it seems like there's never any time to sit back and just kind of rest and enjoy just a little bit of success.
Let me ask you this. Is it possible that the transfer portal has made their jobs easier instead of harder? I know that the turnover is more. There's more volume coming and going.
Explain your thinking.
My
in the-
immediate reaction is no.
right.
So I'm curious.
Back in the
logic.
back in the day, building a team, you needed visits, tons and tons and tons and tons of visits. You had to go and 3, 4, maybe 5 times to a kid's house, whatever. Now, with kids kind of controlling where they want to go, aren't you going to get more people knocking at your door saying, I'm in the portal. It's a phone call. Hey, we'd love to have. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do. You have limited numbers of scholarships.
Right.
If you want to replace a couple of players who are graduating or leaving as a transfer with veterans, you're going to get them in the transfer portal.
Right.
And you've got, as you can see, guys entered the transfer portal a couple of weeks ago. They've made their decision already. It's probably one visit, one meeting. You try to convince them. They say yes. You just filled one of the spots on your team. It didn't require going to high school games over the period of 3 years to try to get and convince some parents to go. It was simply one meeting in 2 weeks, and now you've got your player.
That and
Don't you think they're still doing that though?
Oh yeah, they're still recruiting high school
they're still
players.
recruiting
Of
high
course they
school
are.
players
Yeah.
for sure. This added like coming and going and kids kind of maybe you know what I'm saying? Like you're more likely to get a call saying, "Hey, coach, I'd like to play for you," which I'm sure they do anyway. Yeah, I don't know. I know it's difficult. It's always been though, and recruiting in football, recruiting in basketball has got to be just impossible.
Like anything in sports, though, no matter what the rules are, no matter how they change or evolve, there will be winners and losers. There will be teams that take advantage of the new rules. There will be teams that fail on the new rules because ultimately sports are the ultimate zero-sum game. There is one winner and one loser in every game. Over the course of a season, there will be exactly the same number of wins as there are losses for every single team. So no matter what you do, someone's going to win the game in the end, someone's going to lose it. It's how well you adjust and how well you react to the rules. And in that sense, I do feel like Brian Dutcher is always a great guy to have in your corner for San Diego State because he's an adjuster. He has adjusted already many times as San Diego State's head coach, and now he's doing so in the transfer portal. And yeah, it's hurting his team. You lose a guy like Lamont Butler. In the past, you never would have lost a player like Lamont Butler. First of all, he's a fifth-year, last senior. You're not going to lose a player like that at the end. Now, though, with the NIL opportunities and the chance to go to Kentucky, you can lose players like that. Doesn't have to sit out a transfer year anymore. It's so much easier for players to leave, but it's also easier to replace them. And yesterday, the Aztecs added another guard. Of course, they had already picked up Nick Boyd from Florida Atlantic, a guy with Final Four experience, with postseason experience in the transfer portal. Yesterday, they went a much shorter route. They went across Mission Valley, and you can feel bad for Steve Laffin and his Toreros, but probably the best player on that team, the USD team, Wayne McKinney III, who has 1 year of eligibility left, second team All-WCC last year, and a really good all-around player. Of the USD basketball I watched, he's a good defender. He's a decent offensive player, averaged 13.5 points per game. Good team leader, character guy. Everyone spoke glowingly of
with a 3-ball.
what he did, and he's a better three-point shooter than Lamont Butler was. By the way, so is Nick Boyd. In some ways, you may have actually added more than you lost in the transfer portal already. The Aztecs also picked up that forward from Middle Tennessee State. That was officially announced yesterday. So Jared Coleman-Jones, another new addition, which means they filled 3 of the 4 spots they already had for their roster. They can look around for one more, but they go into next season in good shape. Very different looking team, but still in pretty good shape going into next college basketball season.
As long as Miles Bird stays, that's my guy.
He's sticking around.
Good. I saw him tweeting, "We're locked in." Good. I mean, it's
that was because Wednesday was the day the transfer portal closed.
Yep.
So that means everyone who says they're staying is now good for the 2024-2025 college basketball season.
I like him to have a really big jump this season. I love watching that
He's
kid
fun
play
to watch.
basketball.
He's
I really
electric when
do.
he got on
He
the
is
court.
just one of my favorite players. A lot of attitude, a lot of ability.
The energy on the floor for everybody though just ramped up every time he got on.
He blocks shots. I mean, he moves the ball like he's a good player and getting
remember,
better.
they do have Reese Waters back.
Yeah, my
who
other guy.
I don't think had a phenomenal season. I
Good
think
start.
there's better to be seen from Reese Waters. Good start, not a great finish, but a little more comfortable, one more year in the program. That can only help him. He won't be having to think about Brian Dutcher's defense the whole time. It'll be more natural
You know what I
for
like
him next season.
about Dutch, too, is you never hear him complaining about
You don't.
anything. You don't hear him complaining about the rules and how unfair they are and we don't have enough money.
Did that sound like a complaint to
No,
you?
that sounds like a man that's very happy with his lot in life. And he just is a guy that is like, whatever you throw at me, I'm going to dodge it and I'm going to get the job done. Is it going to be rough and patchwork? Maybe, yeah, probably a little bit. But every team goes through that right now. So I really like what he's done so far, and this is what we got right now, Benny. And it's up to him and his staff to get these guys locked in for next year. And I like a lot of the talent on this team.
Sound like me.
I
over
do.
there.
Jesus, what is happening to me?
Talking college basketball and all your likes
All my
at
likes.
the same time.
Big glass half full guy over here.
Let's get an opponent for Woods today on Take on Woods. Give us a call now. Last day to qualify for the trip to Las Vegas and the Cool and the Gang tickets. 833-288-0973. Our musical trivia challenge is coming up momentarily, so dial now. 833-288-0973. And remember, the Aztecs also had some guys who you didn't see last year, including Magoon Gwath, who sat out a redshirt season, but was very impressive as a big guy, like 7-footer with skills that is going to probably be in the mix and probably in the starting lineup next season for San Diego State. Now, will he be Jaden Ledee? Of course not. Jaden Ledee was an All-American, one of the best players, had one of the best seasons in San Diego State history. That'll be tough to replace, but you're not looking for one guy to do it. You're looking for – traditionally, San Diego State always kind of – they spread the wealth more often than last season. Was a little unusual to have one player be such a focus of the offense. It'll go back to what you used to see with San Diego State.
We'll recreate him in the aggregate.
You recreate him in the aggregate. Perfect.
No, I watched Moneyball last night, so.
That's exactly how you
Stop
do it.
trying to replace Jaden Ledee, okay? We can't do it. We'll recreate him in the aggregate. Does that make sense?
Makes perfect sense.
Doesn't it? It really did in my mind when I watched that.
But yeah, the Aztecs were never a team that usually had a guy who would average 20.
Right.
They'd have, 4 guys who'd average 10 to 15 during the game and spread it around. And I think it'll look more like that next year. All right, enough college basketball talk. Let's get to today's game. It's time to take on Woods. Take on Woods is brought to you by Valvoline Instant Oil Change. It only takes 15 minutes. You don't have to get out of your car. For directions and discounts, go to SoCalOilChange.com. That's SoCalOilChange.com. Jason, good morning. You are our contestant today. Everyone else, thank you for calling in, but Jason's the guy. Hi, Jason.
Hey, good morning.
All right, this is it. This is the last chance this month. We have probably 5 or 6 qualifiers. If you can get in, you'll be into the drawing for our 2-night stay at the Westgate, tickets to Cool and the Gang, and you can check out the Westgate's $70 million in room renovations, home of legendary Vegas fun. Get your Cool and the Gang tickets at Ticketmaster.com. Here are the categories today. We have Song and Dance from the 80s. That's an all 2-second song category. Songs from the 80s, including the word dance in the title. We have the Tortured Poets Department. It's a Taylor Swift category, but the questions, you don't necessarily need to know everything about Taylor Swift to get those ones right. And we have the End of the World, our new category today. Those are 5 song titles that end with the word world. So, Song and Dance, the Tortured Poets Department, or the End of the World. Jason, what would you like to play?
Let's go with the End of the World.
The End of the World. All right, we're looking for 5 song titles. Again, each end with the word world. You'll have 60 seconds. Get as many as you can. Have Woods come in, compare your scores. If you beat her time, we'll put you into the drawing for Las Vegas. First question is the 2-second song. You need to give me both the title and the artist to score that point, and then we'll go on from there. Are you ready to play?
Let's do it.
All right. Paul, you ready?
Getting there. All right.
All right, 60 seconds on the clock. Your time begins when Paul plays the music. I didn't put the artist. You have the right artist
I
on
hope
that
so.
one?
Hang on.
All right, he does. All right, here we go. 60 seconds on the clock. The category, the end of the world. Your time begins when Paul plays the music. Good luck, Jason. Let's take on Woods.
Oh, it's Joy to the World. Come back to the artist.
All right, written by Michael Jackson and Lionel Richie and performed by USA for Africa, which 1985 song was recorded to provide famine relief.
Heal the World.
What is that?
Heal the World?
That is incorrect. Cat Stevens sings It's Hard to Get By Just Upon a Smile, in which 1970 hit song about love and heartbreak.
Pass.
Which appropriately titled 2013 song was the major label breakthrough hit for Imagine Dragons?
I should know this one. Pass.
Careful on this one, which 1982 song with a two-word title was the first charting hit for the band Tears for Fears?
Pass.
Go back to the 2-second song. You got the title. Oh, wow. You got that. I thought you got off to a good start, and then it just kind of devolved from there. That is Joy to the World by Three Dog Night. We Are the World, We Are the Children is the USA for Africa song. Wild World by Cat Stevens. On Top of the World, Imagine Dragons. And Mad World is the Tears for Fears early song. Of course, more famous for Everybody Wants to Rule the World, but that's not the answer to this one. That's why I said be careful. Don't know that that's going to be a winner at the end of the month, so everyone who's already in can breathe a sigh of relief. We'll see how Woods does. Same category, but he doesn't get it, so it makes it a little tougher for him. 60 seconds back on the clock. Headphones on. Woods, your time begins when Paul plays the music. Good luck. Let's take on Jason.
I'll come back to it.
Written by Michael Jackson and Lionel Richie and performed by USA for Africa, which 19...
We Are the World.
Correct. Cat Stevens sings It's Hard to Get By Just Upon a Smile, in which...
Wild World.
Correct, which appropriately titled 2013 song was the major label breakthrough hit for Imagine Dragons.
I'm on Top of the World.
Correct. Careful on this one, which 1982 song with a two-word title was the first charting hit for Tears for Fears.
Two-word?
Two-word. I said careful on this one.
The World?
No, incorrect. Back to the 2-second song. Artist?
Oh, I hate the song. Was a good friend of mine. I have no idea who sings it, so it won't matter.
All right.
I'm
You did
out.
get three, though, which is a win today. Tough category. You beat Jason 3-zip.
What's the Tears for Fears?
You know it. It's
Everybody-
Mad World. That's why Everybody Wants to Rule the World is their famous, and it fits the category. But Mad World was their first charting hit in
Was it?
1982.
That's
Yes.
theirs?
That is theirs. Joy to the World by Three Dog
Joy
Night
to the World.
was the one that you did not get. But a well-played game and a well-played month. I think we only had like 5 qualifiers or so. So your names will all go into the hopper, and you'll probably find out next week who wins the trip to Vegas, and we should have a brand new prize starting Monday morning.
If you play that Imagine Dragon songs, I'm going to throw this lacrosse ball at you across the
You
room,
got it,
just
though.
so you know.
You did get it right.
How could I miss it? How could I possibly?
I was
miss
impressed by Wild World. You got
Love
that
that
one.
song.
Cat Stevens.
Ooh, baby, baby. It's a great song.
Some people say it's sexist, though. If you reverse the lyrics, it would be very condescending.
World, wild.
No,
Reverse.
just not the song
Play it
title.
in reverse, Paulie. What are the lyrics? Sexist. Let me see.
It's just he's basically warning her. You're breaking up with me. You don't know what you're getting into. It's a tough world out there.
Oh, okay.
Pretty arrogant of him to say
Arrogant, yes.
that. Hey, it's a wild world out there, and you think you can get by without me on just a smile? Good luck to you.
That's very, yeah. I've probably.
It's a modern interpretation of a 1970 song.
I've probably used that in a breakup before. Well, good luck. Good luck finding something better than this.
This
Idiots.
package.
Look at this.
Look at this whole package.
You're going to turn this down? Wow. All right. Good luck to you. Good luck getting by on your smile, girl.
All right, we've got Don't Do This, and Pat Beverly is the star of Don't Do This today. But there was also a cool Do This moment involving Ben and Wood's guest Sarah Langs yesterday. So we'll get to both of those coming up next. Don't go away. More Ben and Woods after traffic here on 97.3 The Fan. Don't Do This, brought to you by the Craft Taco in Sorrento Valley. The Craft Taco, some of the best quality tacos in all of San Diego. Go to thecrafttaco.com. Take a look at their happy hour specials today. In fact, why don't you just go to the Craft Taco today? Thecrafttaco.com. Friday seems like a great day for tacos. Also a good day for Don't Do This. Woods?
Yeah, let's get started with Pat Beverly, Benjamin. He had a rough night. His team lost and did not really feel like answering questions. Well, he'd answer other people's questions, but there was one lady in particular, producer Melinda Adams from ESPN, wanted to ask Pat Beverly a question last night. Now, this is after the game in which he absolutely threw a basketball at a fan behind the bench. I guess the fan was heckling. Paulie, did you see the whole thing?
I mean, I saw the incident. I did not see really what instigated
what
it.
led up to it.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I
it
mean,
was.
He really threw that ball hard.
So
hit a woman in the head.
Yep.
And then somebody lightly
toss
tossed the ball
it
back to the
him.
bench. He catches it and
boom.
immediately fires it right back at him.
Yeah, dude. I mean, hard. Threw it hard. So he gets in the locker room after. And again, producer Melinda Adams wanted to ask him a question, and this went down here.
Oh, excuse me, I'm sorry. Before I finish. You subscribe to my pod?
Do I subscribe to you? I do not.
So you can't interview me then. No
Okay,
disrespect.
Well, Jamal is here.
You subscribe? Okay, cool.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Again, there were a couple times within a bucket or two. In previous games, y'all have been able to kind of get over that hump, or maybe.
Now, her microphone.
She put a microphone in.
Was it anything they did in particular, or was it just one of those where
and he pushed it
the
away.
Bucket didn't go down? There wasn't the stop. They made one.
His answer.
His answer doesn't really matter. So he said, "Do you subscribe to my pod and my podcast?" And she said, "No." He said, "You can't interview me." No disrespect. Now, when someone says, "I've learned this," no disrespect. They're about to disrespect. You're about to be disrespected. No disrespect.
Hey, no offense, but
no offense.
I'm about to offend you.
Right. So he pushes, and then she just puts her mic in to pick up the audio for ESPN, who is I think they're about to spend a really pretty penny.
They already do.
Yeah, $26 billion or something on the NBA. Some insane amount of money. And he pushes her mic away and says, "Nope. Get that mic out of my face," pretty much.
Now, I was reading a little bit more. She is a well-respected ESPN producer, been with ESPN since 2008, not new to the scene. And by the way, it's not required to be a reporter to subscribe to everyone's podcast.
Correct. Yeah. Should we do that? Like when people call, do you subscribe to our YouTube? Actually, no. All right, see you later. No disrespect.
No take on Woods for you.
Yeah, right. You subscribe to Ben and Woods? You don't? All right.
Now, I don't know if there was some sort of history there or not, but certainly from just that perspective, it seems, well, incredibly rude by Pat Bev, someone who's just trying to do their job, and you're making it harder for them, and sexist as well, because you didn't ask any of the other reporters.
Correct.
If they subscribed to your podcast, you just started answering questions.
Kind of tired move by him. He's done this.
Very tired.
He's done this stuff.
But the throwing of the ball, even Charles Barkley goes, "I've done some dumb stuff in my career, but that is really dumb. That's going to be a suspension. That's going to be I think he said, like, that's a big suspension.
That's going to be a good one.
That's a good one. That's going to be a good one. That's not just your one gamer. That's going to be a good one that Pat Bev
start the season next year
is going at, because they're done. So it'll be next year. That just embarrassing on many fronts. And sure, it's frustrating to be eliminated in a tough series like that. It's competitive, but yeah, you're in a road environment. You can't expect to be. You can't. I mean, you're going to get heckled. You know, it's the NBA.
Yeah,
it's
but
the playoffs.
The reporter,
you can't be mad. And then she did nothing other than ask a question.
And I think he went out of his way to embarrass her, which is always, it's never a good look for a player. And listen, it's not his first kind of dust up. Probably won't be his last. But if Adam Silver has anything to do with it could be his last. You never know what they'll throw down on her. But again, you can't really treat a rights holder that way. You just can't. As much as you may not like her.
You shouldn't treat anybody.
That's true.
That way.
That's absolutely true.
Reporter.
Any reporter.
I don't care if she's from The Athletic, Fox Sports, ESPN, CBS, whatever.
Yeah.
That's a D move.
It's really.
I wish, and she was put on the spot. She's just trying to do her job. I wish she had just gone, "No, it's just not very good."
Yes. Like that, Ben. No disrespect.
I wonder
No
what would have
disrespect.
happened if she just lied and be like, yeah, of course.
Sure, yeah, whatever, I do.
How's he going to know?
Yeah, I do.
Weird, man. It's a weird thing to.
You're like,
You
all
want to
right,
go
open
check?
up-
No, I use a different email address.
Open
That's
up
fine.
your Apple Podcast. Let me look through it. See what you're subscribed to.
Yeah.
It's just weird all around.
Kind of, and the other thing too, people were making this point, and I'd like to think that I would have. I like to think that I would have. Shouldn't the other reporters have said something like, "Hey, man, that's not cool. That's not cool."
Yes.
Yeah. I think I like to think that I would have. I can't promise you that I would.
It's harder than it looks. You're all on deadline. You're trying to just get a quote and get out of there. So I understand you weren't expecting something like that, but the best thing to do would have been just like walk away then. Okay, well, if you're not going to answer her questions, then we're not going to ask you
Yeah, there
any
should be a little bit of
questions.
solidarity.
Which
I
may
think.
have felt like a win for Pat Bev. Like,
Yeah.
oh, now I don't have to talk about
Yeah.
my bad behavior,
Yeah.
my team's lost.
True.
And it's like he's getting out of actually having to take some responsibility, so you don't want to let him off the hook there.
But, like, I don't know how it works. I've never been in an NBA locker room. I know the Padres have, like, the players' lounge, and that is hidden from anywhere that the media can go
Right.
when the clubhouse is open for the media. And if they don't want to talk, they can just go hide there. They can go get work done in the trainer's room. They can go to the weight room. Like, they have places that they can go to avoid talking if they don't feel like talking that particular day. If Pat Beverly really didn't want to talk, I just think he didn't want to talk.
But he talked
her.
to the other guys.
Yeah, he
so-
talked to the other guys. Yeah, he just went out of
Like,
his
if
way
he didn't want to
embarrass
talk,
her.
he didn't have to sit at his locker when reporters were there.
Yeah, that's a tough look.
All right, let's rinse that off with some do this on a Friday. Love this.
DD mega doo-doo.
So we've had Sarah Langs on. We've got the star somewhere in our studios. Is it still behind you? Yeah, still behind Paulie there. ALS star. Sarah, who's one of the favorites, provides great info for ESPN's crew and others on social media on baseball stats. And she's also big on birthdays. She always tweets when someone in baseball has a birthday. Birthdays are important. So they turned it around yesterday, and I thought this was a very cool thing. MLB tweeting out. They got a
Brian Kenny loving
cavalcade.
here.
Cavalcade of stars, though. Well, there's a lot more than just Brian Kenny
Working
here.
with Sarah Lang. Sarah, happy birthday officially. If you're out there watching, and working with Sarah, being around Sarah makes your day better. Always, just in every way, just a delight to work with. Always enlightening to hear her view of baseball as well, her knowledge of baseball. We've spoken to her many times. One of the most fun things I've done here on the network actually was doing a SaberCast ball game with Sarah Langs and Cliff Floyd, because their spheres didn't interact, and yet they interacted with each other beautifully. You got two different worlds, her research world and StatCast and sabermetric world, Cliff Floyd's, baseball player world, and it was just one of the highlights that I've had here at the network. She's been part of our sabermetric super panel for the last few years. Anyway, happy birthday to Sarah.
Yeah, most enthusiastic person about baseball in the world, and also
John
great
Heyman.
at her job. Really fantastic.
I got a chance to talk to John Kruk about her all the time when they worked together at ESPN. He said that she was just spectacular.
Yeah.
Just, I have not gotten a chance to work with her directly, but I hear nothing but great things, and I know that she's meant so much to this industry. Pretty awesome stuff. Happy birthday, Sarah.
We're out there with Sarah at the World Series last time. She'll be with us again here on the show. We'll be booking her rather soon. But again, happy birthday, Sarah.
She's awesome.
Did we not have the real video, though? Did I send the wrong
That was
one?
what you sent
No,
me.
you sent
Oh,
the wrong video.
I sent the wrong video then.
Fantastic.
Well done.
It was from her tweet. No, that wasn't the right video. I thought they were introducing the actual video. Oh, that failed.
Happy
No.
Friday, everybody.
They had Fernando Tatis Jr.
What?
They had all kinds
All right,
of
well,
players.
I'll
I'd like
find
to
the
hear
real-
that one.
I'll find the real video.
We'll play it when we come back. That was not the real
Like,
video.
I was waiting. I was
That
like, all right.
was Don't Do This with Ben and Woods.
I kept waiting
on
too.
97.3 The Fan.
Why is Brian Kenny? Is he introducing this video?
I was like,
it's a fantastic video.
It's like, we're just going to play a bunch of Brian Kenny here. Okay, sounds
No,
good.
no.
Welcome to
You
Friday.
didn't say. No one warned me. Like, this doesn't seem right, Ben. Ben, this doesn't seem right.
I thought you fact checked your work as a
astute
reporter.
I saw her. So what I did is I saw her. She tweeted it out from the MLB account, and I just quickly went to her account to forward it to Paulie. Apparently, she must have tweeted out something else.
Oh, yeah.
Since then, because that was not the same thing that I saw last.
You're going to want to listen to those first.
All right. Yeah. Well, apparently so. I did listen to it.
I
I listened to
found
the
it.
whole thing last night.
We'll play it after.
All right. We'll play it when we come back. It's Ben and Woods.
Way to go, Ben. Super good job. there, buddy.
Very cool to hear from Brian Kenny and John Heyman this morning on Ben and Woods.
I had no.
No
There was
disrespect.
no Brian
Ben, no
Kenny.
disrespect.
There was no John Heyman in anything that I saw yesterday.
Ben, no
This was-
offense.
No offense.
But that was terrible.
Terrible.
I was going, what is going on here? This is not what I was trying to send you.
No disrespect.
All right, we'll play it for you. The real video.
Somebody says
when
you
we
should
come
spin
back.
the bean wheel.
Probably.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah, let's do it. We'll do it.
Ball 2, though, on Ben and Woods on 97.3.
Hang on. Whoa,
I didn't
whoa.
play it. I didn't play it.
Whoa. If you would have said, Paul, can you go find the Sarah Lang's video?
Yes.
And I played it, then that's on me.
That's on Ben.
You sent it to me.
The bean wheel, more like the Ben wheel, coming up next. There's a lot to unpack here. A lot to unpack.
I'm offended.
It's weird to see Ben, who will also be running for president of the Tier 1s later in the year. I should throw that in now. Try to bring down our producer. It's hard to watch, but self-preservation, as we know, is a real thing. I mean, it is a real thing. Been backed into a corner. What happens?
Protect that image.
You got to protect the image. You sent him a clip and said, here's the Sarah Langs clip. Paulie played it as instructed. It was the wrong clip. It was Brian Kenny, who we loathe. It was John Heyman, who's a clown. And then some other guy was like, I don't know Sarah. I hear she's great. Happy birthday. And I'm like, well, that's
someday
weird.
I'd like to meet her.
Oh, yeah. I just said she'd be cool to work with. Happy birthday, Sarah, whoever you are, wherever you are. So then.
But it was a Sarah Langs video.
It was,
yeah.
yes.
Yeah, like I said in the break, Paulie would face some responsibility had you send him a video, and Paulie comes back and he plays Glenn Campbell's Rhinestone Cowboy.
Yeah, the music video.
Yeah, like a runs. And we're like, Paulie, what in the world? Well, I didn't check it.
Well, Ben sent it over.
That's on you.
So
that's actually two beans.
Yesterday, I saw
beans.
the video, and Sarah said, oh, my goodness, thank you so much for everyone involved in this.
Right.
And I thought, oh, that's the one. I need to send that to Paulie. And then later she sent a different video in which she said, oh, my, thank you to everyone involved at MLB Network for this. Yeah. So I thought that was the same video because she had kind of it was an honest
It's
mistake.
an honest mistake. Absolutely it is.
It was an understandable mistake.
But then it's the trying to pass off responsibility. That is, it's a tough look for a president. Or a president, potential president.
I think that's exactly what all presidents do all the time.
Couldn't agree more, actually. I should probably do it more.
Exactly. I hit the wrong button. Adam, that's your fault. Hey, Adam.
All right. Well, listen, that's going to be two beans.
That's a bean.
That's going to be two.
Two beans.
Yeah,
two? No.
Now, do you do them both at the same time?
It's the wrong audio, and it's the dragging Paulie under the bus. Yeah, you can go both at the same time if you want. Yeah.
Slow spin.
Or do you want to separate
pomegranate
them?
old bandage.
Oh, the old bandage got me good. Oh, my mouth. Remember, my mouth tastes like old bandage for about a week.
No, it smells so bad.
It smells. They're stale. All right, that's the old bandage. Is that old bandage? I don't think so.
It says, right?
This is going to be three beans.
There's
here.
no other red ones, and it looks like the red one, right? Pomegranate old bandage.
Right, I'm going to give you a pass on that. Go ahead. I'm going to spin the next one for you.
Here's the lid.
I don't like pomegranate either, so I'd be double.
What? Old bandage.
Yeah! Hey, don't worry. We'll wash it down with some stinky socks.
Oh, no. Stinky socks or
Tutti Frutti.
Tutti Frutti.
Oh, there it is.
Ben doesn't look too hot.
Go ahead and wash that down with that one. Now, you pay for your crimes on this show.
I'll show you.
Bro, dead bandage is nasty. A dead bandage, old bandage. All right, wash it down. Maybe you'll get some Tutti Frutti here. Maybe not.
Yeah.
If he pulls two...
Justice will be served.
Stinky socks.
Oh, yes! I mean, baseball gods were not kind to you today.
Oh, no.
That is a rough scene for you, my friend. Yeah, imagine eating a handful of them. All right? I feel zero sympathy. Which one was worse? Bandage. You learned the a valuable lesson today. Never rat on your friends. Okay. Oh God, I can smell it.
Yeah, stink.
Oh Lord.
Stuck in the teeth again.
Oh yeah, it'll be there.
All right, I'm out for the rest of this segment. Do we have the actual video?
Yeah, do we have the actual?
It really is worth playing.
All right,
it
I'd
really
like to
was
hear it.
pretty cool.
I'd love to hear it.
Happy birthday to Sarah Langs.
There it is.
Because as she tells us all the time, birthdays are really important, and you are really important, according to everybody, and certainly our Sunday Night Baseball TV and radio.
Hi, Sarah. I'm just here to wish you
a
happy birthday. It's been unbelievable to see you working and tweeting all the stuff, all the stats. And every time when Soto homers, you right there. Like you say, baseball is the best, but I think you the best, and wishing you happy birthday to you.
Hey Sarah, Francis Jr. over here. I just want to say thank you for my birthday wish. lastly, just want to say the same to you. Happy birthday, and hopefully you have a nice day. And yes, birthdays are important.
Hey, Sarah, just want to wish you a happy birthday. You say baseball's the best, but you know what? You're the best.
Josh Bell.
Sara, gracias por el deseo de cumpleaños. Ahora te deseamos a ti feliz cumpleaños.
Jose Ramirez.
Are important.
Hey, what's up, Sarah? I heard it's your birthday.
Julio
I just wanna
Rodriguez.
stop by and say happy birthday. I wish you the best. I hope you enjoy it with your family. I hope to see you soon. Take care.
Hey, Sarah, thank you for showing me love on my birthday. I just want to do the same for you and send you the best wishes for your birthday. Happy birthday.
Michael Harris.
As we all know, birthdays are important.
Garrett Cole.
So
Garrett Cole.
It makes me so happy to be able to wish you a happy birthday. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I look forward to seeing you at the stadium soon.
Hey, Sarah, I just wanted to reach out and
Aaron
say
Boone.
happy birthday, and thank you for continuing to shine your light all across the nation, and thanks for loving our game the way that you do. So, happy birthday. I hope you have a great one, and we'll see you at the ballpark.
Happy birthday. Baseball is the best.
Happy birthday, Sara. Béisbol es the best.
Jackson
Happy
Churio.
birthday, Sarah.
No,
Even the
not
baseball
Kenny.
gods know that birthdays
Andy
are
Bell.
important. And that's why last year they arranged the schedule so that I would be in New York to not only see you on your birthday, but to spend it the only way either of us would have wanted to, watching baseball together. Happy birthday, Slangs.
We love you. We all think baseball's the best. We also think
Whoa,
you're
Boog,
the best. We love you. Hope it's an amazing birthday. All right? Love
And
you.
then they clear out of the way, and
Happy birthday, Sarah. We do love you.
That's awesome, dude. Birthdays are important. Happy birthday, Sarah.
now that was the cool
that
video I was
now
looking
see that
for.
would have been
Should have just sent that the first time.
yeah. If you had just sent that the first time,
Why do I always get the bad ones?
it's pretty incredible. It's pretty.
I've got to
incredible.
imagine
You know,
that
they
the
say
ratio.
ball don't lie.
It's got to be
Beans
ratio
don't
like
lie.
3 bad ones to 1 good one. I can't imagine it's 50-50 in there.
I don't
There's
know.
no way
mean,
I could always have the wrong coin flip. I think I've had like 10 beans and 9 of them have been bad.
Yeah. Yeah, you only had one good one.
One good one the entire time.
Sorry about that, but
Ugh.
it had to be done. Did you learn your lesson?
Mm-hmm. I'm just never speaking again.
Well,
or doing
that's- I
anything
mean-
to help the show again. That's
not-
my lesson that I've learned.
That's
Don't
not-
even try
No,
because
that's
you're
not
just going to end up eating a bean when you do it.
It's like, you fall off a boat. You don't reach up and grab Paulie's life vest to pull him in with you. He might.
As
Paulie and I
clearly
were
shown
sitting on
today.
the door in that ocean. I'm pushing him off the side, down the depths with the Titanic.
It's incredible. It's incredible. Like being in a war with Ben would be very tough. He would pretend to get up out of the trenches and then duck back down as you wear
Total eye wash in war.
Yeah. Come on, guys, let's kick some ass today. I'll be back here. I got a little cramp in my calf. Yeah, that's tough, man.
I'm scouting for you. Scouting.
Tough scene.
That is very tough. I'm sorry. That's good. That bandage is going to be with you for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's tough.
Doesn't go away. It's bad. Let's check traffic, and then we'll come back here with 90 something on 97.3 The Fan. I'm toast. You
90
toasted
something.
me.
Yep. I did.
From
Toasted
the
yourself.
97.3 The Fan Traffic Center, here's Kelly Danick.
Traffic is sponsored by Viejas Casino and Resort. Just one accident to mention here. This one involves several vehicles, including a motorcycle north on 5 at 28th Street. Unfortunately, it's got middle lanes blocked. Viejas Casino and Resort is home to the best players club in My Viejas. Start earning points toward incredible rewards like free gifts, concert tickets, hotel stays, dining discounts, and more. It's time to ditch the other guys and join the best, the My Viejas Players Club, Viejas Casino and Resort. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben and Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
Had Adam Jones on the program yesterday. He said he was going to be at the Orioles-Yankees series finale. I assume he had a pretty good time as the Orioles won 7-2. They took 3 out of 4 and took over first place in the AL East. A good early season series and matchup between two teams that look like they're going to be battling it out over the course of the season for that division title.
He also got his beer. They made him a beer.
They made him a beer?
Yeah, he had his own beer.
He likes beer.
He likes beer a lot. And he got to sample, finally, the beer that they made for him yesterday. I'm going to pull it up and get the name. I don't want to get the name wrong. I'm really committed to accuracy here on the
Everyone will be at this point, knowing the punishment for a lack of accuracy.
It is the Ballpark IPA by Monument Brewing. And, it's the Simply AJ Ballpark IPA. He's on the can. Looks really cool. It's cool to get your own beer. We had our own beer. It's really awesome. Thank you to Virgin for that really special moment. The Tier 1 Pale Ale is delicious.
It's got to be coming out again soon sometime. Wasn't it
Is
summer usually? Summertime?
I don't know.
I hope there's another one.
I hope there's another one, too.
It's been like 3 years. Are they going to redo that?
I hope so. That was
great.
really good. Everyone enjoyed that beer tremendously.
The can was the greatest. It was phenomenal.
At the risk of a little bit of Giants loving, it was a nice moment when Mike Yastrzemski homered at Fenway Park. His grandpa came by before the game to talk to him, Carl, who, of course, is a legend in Boston. And Mike actually hit a home run and helped the Giants to a 3-1 win over the Red Sox yesterday. Mets beat the Cubs in 11 innings, 7-6, on a walk-off double by Francisco Lindor to split the 4-game series. So the Cubs now, this is an interesting series this weekend. They will be taking on the Milwaukee Brewers.
Ooh, yeah.
Both teams near the top of the NL Central standings, but of course the real intrigue, it's Craig Counsell's first games against his old team after
Chicago?
Up and leaving. I believe it's in Chicago after up and leaving the Brewers. And, of course, Pat Murphy inherited that job. Pat Murphy, who was the bench coach for Craig Counsell and was his old college coach at Notre Dame. And I was reading a little bit more yesterday. Apparently, Pat Murphy was really hard on Craig Counsell at Notre Dame.
I've heard Pat Murphy was really hard on everyone at Notre Dame. My brother went to his camp, and, he's pretty gnarly.
Of course, was the interim Padres manager for a short time as well. But this will be their first go-around here. And the Brewers have surprised people by how well they've kind of played early in the season. And the Cubs seem to be getting what they wanted to get out of Craig Counsell. They were looking for a difference maker as a manager, and they've gotten off to a really good start, apart from yesterday's loss to the Mets. So that's one of the interesting series that will be a focus of Major League Baseball this weekend.
I'd say, the best home record in baseball for the Chicago Cubs, 10-3.
By the way, that's where the Padres are headed after Arizona on this series.
Indeed they are. I mean, weren't we mocking the Central? And the Central looks really, really good.
Both Centrals
look really solid
so far.
Yeah, we mocked them mercilessly, and turns out the West in both are the middling divisions right now.
So of the 10 teams in the two Central divisions, 7 of them have winning records.
Yep.
4 in the AL Central, the only division in baseball with 4 winning teams. Now, they do all have the advantage of taking on the Chicago White Sox, who have the worst record in all of baseball. The Twins, who got off to a terrible start, have won 10 in a row. And they're 17-13 and in fourth place. Yeah, I'm still feeling the beans. It's weird, though, because when you win 10 in a row, and 7 of them are against the White Sox, and the other 3 are against the Reeling Angels, it's almost like, yes, 10 in a row is great, but anything less than 8 or 9 is that would be really disappointing. You're losing ground. You could win 8 of 10, and you're losing ground in those games. You have to win those games. That's why the Padres' 4-game series against the Rockies was so disappointing.
So disappointing.
They're the worst team in the National League now. They're 7-24. They just got swept by the Marlins. The Padres missed a golden opportunity, and mostly just because of that one game. 3 out of 4 would have been okay, but splitting 4 against the Rockies, that's a real failure right there for the Padres. So, at least the Twins have taken advantage of playing the bottom-feeding teams in the American League over the last week. 2 last-place teams. They won all 10, which is great. They got back into it in a race after a really cold start. They're now just 2.5 games out of first.
I feel so bad for Wash, man. I just, I watch a lot of his post-game pressers, and I see the way he handles himself and the way he handles his team. And I feel terrible for him. I just think he's a good manager. He gets his chance again. And, they obviously get rid of Shohei Ohtani. He leaves in free agency to the Dodgers. Mike Trout just got hurt. He's got some young players. He's got some exciting players, but just not enough. And for that guy, he's a guy that I would like to see win a chip, and I just don't think it's going to be in Anaheim. Ben.
Yeah, and with the Astros winning yesterday 8-2 over the Guardians, they've actually fallen now into a tie for last place in the American League West. The Guardians, the only thing interesting about that one was that broke a streak of 4 straight extra inning games. No team had played 5 in a row extra innings for a century. So they were trying to tie that record, but they did not go to extra innings yesterday. And then the last game was the Marlins sweep of the Rockies, 5-4, another extra inning game there. So there's your update on a light schedule of Thursday baseball yesterday.
But some really good matchups this weekend. Really, really good matchups in baseball. And I think,
Well,
you got the Braves, Dodgers. That's gonna be pretty fantastic. You got Phillies, Giants is going on this weekend. You got Brewers and Cubs, as you just mentioned. That's gonna be fantastic as well. What else is good? A couple more. Yeah, I mean those are the big ones. Dodgers, Braves are gonna be
Baltimore at Cincinnati, even not so bad. But Braves Dodgers starts tonight with Bryce Elder against Tyler Glasnow. Those are two teams. Padres after the road trip, they got the Dodgers and the Braves coming up fairly soon here in May as well. There's a lot of tough games on the schedule for the Padres here coming up.
Nothing changes, man.
Nope, it's going to be rough. All right, we'll come back. We'll kick off hour number 3 chatting with Jake from Cespedes Family Barbecue on a Friday morning. It's Bennett Woods on 97.3 The Fan.
Halfway home on a Friday. Ben and Woods, 997.3 The Fan. Thanks so much for being here and watching on YouTube and listening on your radio, your Odyssey app, your smart speaker, however you consume us. Maybe you're in your car right now. Just got a video, though, very, very sweet from Alex. His little daughter is maybe a year old, and she was just dancing so hard, Ben, to your Ben I Like song, the folk song that we played earlier in the show. And really, really sweet. She's bouncing up and down, listening to you. And well, it wasn't you, but it was your words.
I like a juicy,
yeah, it sounds like a little kid's song,
like the Wiggles or
like
something.
The Wiggles, yeah.
We are popular in the 1 to 2 year old demographic, I believe.
Yeah,
strangely popular.
It always domes me out when somebody says that their kids listen to the show. Because we do get a little adult. From time to time.
You get a little adult from time
You're
to time. I'm very kid-friendly.
You are maybe the biggest pervert in this room, if I had to guess. S&M and ball gags and gift masks. I don't even think it's close anymore. It used to be me. I'll wear that. You really have turned into quite the pervert on this program. I'll take some of the responsibility for it, certainly, but I feel like I've just brought that guy out of you. It does freak me out, parents. We do get a little risque from time to time.
It is a Friday. We are 1 hour away from our weekly Managers Report conversation with Padres skipper Mike Shildt. He will join us from Arizona, presumably some hotel in Arizona. I doubt he's at the ballpark yet. It's a night game tonight.
It's true.
So
he's a bit of a go-getter, though.
Yeah.
So is Jake Mintz, who's on the line.
Oh, we've got him?
Yeah.
Is he set up? All right, let's go out. It is also a Cespedes Family Barbecue Friday. And joining us, brought to you by our friends at Grand Ole Barbecue in North Park and Flint Springs. We got Jake Mintz today joining us here on 97.3 The Fan. Jake, good morning to you. Happy Friday.
On a bike ride.
He's outside.
Yeah, I'm out and about, gentlemen. I'm biking from New York City to Albany, New York this weekend, but there's always time.
How far is
Ben
that?
And for Woods.
Yeah, how far is that?
It's in total about 200 and change. I'm doing it over 3 days with my father.
Oh, that's all. So like a father-son trip. Are you guys doing it for a charity or just doing it to do it?
No, just because we hate ourselves.
Yeah. I want to know. So I had a buddy that used to ride bikes, and he's wearing the cap. He would wear the cap that you're wearing. It's a little cap, and then the bill is flipped up. Is there a purpose behind those hats, or is it just what bike riders do?
Just looks cool.
Besides looking absolutely radical, I believe the reason you wear a cap is just to contain your sweat.
Correct.
Right, obviously. Now, for the little dumb bill up here, I think if you push it down, it's supposed to block things getting in your eyes, but I don't know. I just bought it because, I just want to fit in, gentlemen.
That's exactly right. I've done that with baseball and stuff. I'm like, you guys wear it? Back in the day, everyone had those fighting necklaces. What is this for?
Yeah.
I'm like, I got to get one.
Well, that's actually, the fighting necklaces, that's why pitcher injuries are up. Actually,
no one wears them.
Yeah.
This is the old. I love hats, but I hate how they keep the sun out of my eyes. I really wish there was a hat where I could still get the full glare of the sun right in my face. And Jake has figured it out.
It's perfect for people who like staring into the eclipse. Same demo.
It's amazing, man. Last week we talked to Jordan, and I wanted to ask you, before we talk about what's going on nationally in baseball, I wanted to ask you about your team that you coach in Harlem. I just think it's so cool.
Yes.
I said it on the air last week that I was going to make a donation. I completely forgot. Ben was out, and I just made a donation to the Hellfighters. Tell me about this thing that you do and basically how rad it is, what you do.
Sure. So, yeah, I've lived in Harlem now, New York, for about 6 years. And about 4 years ago, I was walking by the Little League field, and I was like, why am I not involved in this? I coached baseball in high school for kids, and I played, and I missed being around the field, so I started volunteering. I'm actually also on the board of Harlem Little League, and then there's a travel program that's, unofficially unaffiliated with the Little League. It's a lot of the same kids, and that's called the Harlem Hellfighters. It's named after the first all-black Army battalion from World War I. Who their barracks is right next to one of the fields that we play at. And so the mission statement of the organization of the Hellfighters is just to give kids in Harlem a local baseball experience, so that basically we're bringing Harlem's kids around the area to play competitive travel games. And there's so many discussions about how baseball is underfunded in minority communities, and when you're around it, like on the ground level, you see how that manifests in a really interesting way. And the number one thing is field space and field quality. So just as an example, right? If the kids down in Greenwich Village who play on turf, if it rains on a Thursday, they can play on a Friday. Uptown, if it rains on a Thursday, you might not be able to play on a Saturday because those fields are not turf. And so a lot of the money we're raising is eventually going to hopefully go to some sort of capital improvements to those fields. But in the short term, we're bringing our 12U team up to Cooperstown this year for the first time. So we're really excited to give those kids that kind of experience. But I love it. I've coached the 10U team. I've been with the same kids now for like a handful of years. To see them grow up is great. I do it for the money, boys. I do it for the money.
Hey, we just got a fresh $50 coming your way from Ben and Wood. So enjoy that. Don't spend it all in one place, Jake.
Oh, yeah. No, it's all volunteer. I absolutely love it. It is the thing outside of covering baseball that fills my tank. So I appreciate you letting me talk about it.
Let's see. I was just looking at your feed. You're doing a little Dodger loving yesterday. Talking to Andy McCullough about his new Clayton Kershaw biography. Why would I care about a Clayton Kershaw biography?
Why would you ask him this question?
I'm curious because I don't know. Why would I care? Should I care?
You wouldn't.
So here's why I think you should kind of care is that you were never the victim of Clayton Kershaw in a real sense, right?
True.
He didn't throw the no-hitter against the Padres. It was against the Rockies. He never beat you in the playoffs. You're just kind of a bystander as a San Diego to the greatness of Clayton Kershaw. And I think you will enjoy aspects of the Clayton Kershaw book because he is such an interesting character that there's so much in the book. I loved it. Andy is my favorite writer, my favorite baseball writer in the world. So I really liked it. But he talked about this when he came on our podcast. He wrote the book because it was like, hey, Clayton, you're kind of nuts when you start, but you're normal the other 4 days. Why? Right? And that is kind of the through line of the whole book. And if you are someone who does not like Clayton Kershaw, you will revel in his failure because there's a lot of October losses in the book. Okay.
I'm in then. Okay, yeah, then it sounds like a good read for a lot of Padre fans out there.
You're talking about like victims of Clayton Kershaw. Aren't Dodgers fans some of the
Yes, that's true. Yeah,
Kershaw?
that's exactly right. That's exactly right. Talking to our pal Jake Mintz from Cespedes Family Barbecue here on Ben and Woods this morning. I know you're that ride to Albany probably feels a little bit better after your beloved Orioles just took 3 of 4 from the Yankees, right? 3 of 4.
3 of 4 from the Yankees. Yeah, they looked great. Really, those two teams are solidifying themselves as the two best in the AL East.
Yeah.
Already. The Blue Jays not getting Vlad and Bo going has been really not great for them. The Red Sox are like a hospital right now with the number of injuries they have is ridiculous. They've done an amazing job considering how hurt everybody is, right? And then the Rays just don't look like themselves. So I just like Baltimore and New York atop the division. And the biggest news for the Orioles was Kyle Bradish coming back and starting yesterday. Remember during spring training when everyone's elbow was starting to get ouchies, he was one of those first guys. And it was like, oh, well, he's going to get Tommy John. Well, he just rehabbed it and was back yesterday throwing as hard as he was last year. And so if he rejoins the rotation and it's Burns, Bradish, and Grayson Rodriguez, that's pretty formidable. I know Rodriguez went on the IL yesterday, but I don't think that's a long-term thing. I think it's just, for a little bit of rest.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely a nasty top 3, and it's not like they're not deep beyond that. I wanted to ask you too. I know, look, we're in San Diego where bringing up prospects has been a way of life, and here for the last few years, we get excited about our prospects. Some of them we get too excited about, but I had not seen as much hype for a prospect other than Jackson Holliday in the last couple of years. Obviously, was tough on the big league level. He's back down. Do you expect – is he still struggling down in the minors? I saw that he was for like the first week or something. I don't know how he's doing now, but what a testament to the way they built that team where, like, yeah, we can bring him up, gets a cup of coffee, we'll send him right back down. We got other guys that can replace him. Really, like, you guys are so loaded in your farm, but what do you – I know that had to be disappointing for you because it's been disappointing for us when we brought guys up and they didn't perform immediately.
So it's easier to swallow when, Gunnar Henderson is a top 5 MVP candidate leading off every day. And I think if like Holiday had come up 3 years ago when the O's sucked and then he sucked, it would have stung more. I think again, the kid's 20 and he had ascended up the minors about as fast as a high school shortstop can ascend. And so for him to have struggles at the big league level is no surprise, right? And I don't think it is concerning, nor should it necessarily change the way we see him as a prospect yet. I will say the way he was being overmatched was concerning. The Orioles, when they've brought guys up, they teach plate discipline so specifically, and what that leads to is guys being too passive at the big league level when they come up. Holiday did not have that problem. For him, it was more about swinging through fastballs in the strike zone. And so I'm curious how he's going to go down and remedy that. But it's good, right? Like you get a taste, you know what you fail at, you go back down and you fix it. And this is like this person has never failed.
Never.
In his life, right? Something that I certainly cannot relate to as an enormous failure. And so for him to taste that, it will be fascinating to see how he rebounds. But within the context of the Orioles, he could not play another game this year with the big league team, and it doesn't really change how good I think they are.
Yeah, good point.
Talking to Jake from Cespedes Family Barbecue. And Jake, I want to get your opinion. How should I feel about the Oakland A's? Part of me is like, this is awesome. Good for Mark Kotsay. This is like the Major League movie come to life. They're trying to win despite everything being against them, the owner trying to move the team to Las Vegas. Then part of me goes, I don't want him to have any success. I don't want them to be good. I want them to be punished for what they've been doing to a city of Oakland and trying to what they're doing and moving the team around. So how should I feel about this weird kind of good start for the Oakland A's where they're just 2.5 games out of first place?
So maybe this is a sad look at it. The owner is going to win anyway. Okay. John Fisher is almost certainly, the team is gone, right? The evil villain has gotten the dub. And so giving the fans one last taste of on-field baseball revelry before the club leaves forever is wonderful for me. It is a reason for those fans to care about something baseball related one last time. Now, if I end up being wrong and the team stays, then that's even better. But I think that the A's being interesting, even though it does directly benefit the ownership group, is fine with me.
Yeah, because it's the players. I mean, you're rooting for the players. They did nothing wrong. They just show up to the ballpark every day and do their jobs.
The players and the coaching staff and even the general manager in the front office, right?
Yeah.
That's out of their hands. And so if this team finishes at 500, that's a huge win. Huge. And I remember during spring training, I loved the way that their manager, Mark Kotsay, said it. He said, our goal's 500. I hate it when bad teams go to spring training and they're like, we're going to win the World Series.
Yeah.
You know, the White Sox essentially did this year. And it was like, you're not going to win the World Series. That's okay. You're bad. Accept that you're bad and try and improve within that context. And that's what the A's did, right? The A's went to spring and they said 500 is what we're all gunning for, right? Let's not get disappointed if we lose 3 in a row. It's a long season. And I love that. And I think you're seeing the benefit of that. And Mason Miller is just a reason enough to buy a television at this point. It is electric. It is electric. I might get cable again, just for Mason Miller, even though I can watch it anyway.
Was named the American League Reliever of the Month today.
Yeah.
He's unbelievable. I said this on the podcast today. I want to say it again. There are too many fan bases right now with bad bullpens saying Mason Miller would be a great ad. Okay? Just because there is a good player on a bad team does not mean that you are entitled to them.
Correct.
Mason Miller is not a free agent until after 2029. He will be in Vegas for 2 seasons.
Yeah.
They're not trading someone with 5 years of service time left.
Yeah, listen up, Dodger fans. I know I've seen all you guys. We should get Mason Miller. How much help do you need?
The Orioles and the Yankees fans were doing this week because he shoved against both of them.
Yep.
And so, but it let Mason Miller be good on the A's. That's fine. Not every good player has to be on your favorite team. This is related to a phenomenon that used to happen when the Orioles were bad. When, a team would play the Orioles, like the Yankees play the Orioles, and a Yankee fan would be
Cedric Mullins.
Say something like, no. It's less like they're going to be on the Yankees, but we're like, oh, they're a nice little player. It's so patronizing. It's so patronizing.
It absolutely is.
Oh, Trey Mancini's a good little player. It's like, no, he's an adult. Okay? He's a real boy. Please, Mason Miller is electric.
He's a
Appreciate
man.
him on the A's.
Yeah, he's a man. He's a man. Thank you, brother.
Yeah,
Continue.
Jake, that road is not biking itself, so you better get back going toward Albany.
Flip that lid and get after it.
This is sport mode, boys.
Attaboy. See you, buddy. Love Jake. Great
Jake
job.
Mintz, Cespedes Family Barbecue, our weekly conversations. Brought to you by Grand Ole Barbecue. Oh, the brisket is so good. Get it in North Park, Flint Springs, or at Petco Park at Grand Ole Barbecue.
You've always wondered about the flip hat, the little tiny build.
So weird.
He didn't really have a good explanation.
No,
for
nobody
it.
ever does. It's funny though.
White men can't jump.
Yeah. It's funny. Yeah, that was Sidney Dean. He wore it. My buddy used to wear one, and I was like, oh, cool.
I had a buddy that wore one when he played tennis in high school. Every tennis match, he had a flip hat. Yeah, I was like, what are you doing?
It's a weird scene, I think.
By the way, I mentioned Mason Miller, the American League reliever of the month for April. We have all of the award winners in. And if you want to get upset, Padres fans, I can give you a little reason to. When we come back.
We love to be upset.
When we come back with Ben and Woods after a check of traffic on 97.3 The Fan. Well, thanks again to Jake Mintz from Cespedes Family Barbecue. Don't forget, you can tune in every Thursday at 10 a.m. for 97.3 The Fans commercial-free Padres Roundtable featuring Ben and Woods, Annie and Elston, and Gwen and Chris, presented by San Diego Roundtable Pizza. For takeout or delivery, go to roundtablepizza.com. Roundtable, the last honest pizza.
Delicious.
I was at work last night, and one of my colleagues texted and he goes, "What is this that's on the air?" Because they replayed the Roundtable from 5 to 6. And he goes, "I thought Ben was at Channel 10 right now." And I go, "That's the replay of our Roundtable. And he goes, "Oh, Roundtable, very underrated. Very good
Yeah,
pizza.
it's really good.
Very solid."
So. Trust me, looking at the sports landscape last night, today was the first day I thought to myself, should we just replay that bad boy? And then I thought, no, we're going to soldier on.
Could have saved me some from jelly bean eating.
Potential.
Had we just replayed it in the last hour
You
instead.
could have saved yourself.
You could have saved yourself
from
there
some
also
True.
by one, sending the right clip, and then two, not throwing our producer under the bus.
Fair enough.
Let's
All
make
right, so
yourself
MLB, knowing that it was a light morning, probably chose this morning to announce their March/April Players of the Month, Pitchers of the Month, and no huge surprises. National League Player of the Month is Mookie Betts, who was the best player in baseball the first month of the season. Hit .368. That is the best batting average, best on-base percentage, .477, OPS 1101, OPS plus 214, 10 doubles, 2 triples, 6 homers.
Christ.
Had 10 more walks than strikeouts. Yeah, Mookie was insanely good in April. Gunnar Henderson was named the AL Player of the Month. He had 10 home runs, matching Mike Trout. Also stole 6 bases. Only had all 10 last year. So adding a speed element to his game and paced the Orioles a hot start with a 291, 356, 624 slash line from the leadoff spot in their lineup. So those are your Players of the Month. Your
Got no problems with that.
Pitchers of the Month. 2 guys the Padres have faced in the last couple of weeks. In the National League, it's Ranger Suarez, who just kind of stopped giving up runs, had a 0.63 whip in his first 6 starts with a 1.32 ERA over 41 innings. And then in the American League, it was Jose Berrios of the Toronto Blue Jays, who shut down the Padres as well. He pitched to a 1.44 ERA with an MLB high 43 2/3 innings. The relievers of the month, we mentioned that it was Mason Miller of the Oakland A's, one of the fun surprises early in the year, just an absolute flamethrower. And he's off to a fantastic start, 1.35 ERA, struck out 28 of the 51 batters he faced.
Nasty, dude.
But in the National League, the Reliever of the Month award was given to Ryan Helsley of the St. Louis Cardinals. It's certainly not a bad choice. Had 10 saves, had a 1.69 ERA, which is very good.
It's very nice.
But,
That's very nice.
But Robert Suarez had 10 saves and a 0.66 ERA over the first month of the season. Maybe a little overlooked. And I thought, well, it's because the Cardinals are off to such a good start. They're not. They have worse record than the Padres at this point. So, I mean, maybe you can say Helsley had more strikeouts. He had 5 more strikeouts than Suarez did in the first month of the year, but a little bit of an odd choice.
Full run more.
Yeah,
in the
comparing.
ERA.
I mean, if you're comparing ERAs, Robert Suarez clearly wins that matchup, and not that the NL reliever of the month is some.
What do you get? You get like a plaque or something?
I have no idea if you get anything at all.
$100?
That'd be nice.
Bonus?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, strikeout to walk ratio was good, but they decided to give it to Ryan Helsley, maybe a little more of a name than, not much more of a name than Robert Suarez. But Robert Suarez had a fine
He was
month, and
brilliant.
I've got to imagine he was a finalist and a candidate for the award. The other 2 awards were the Rookies of the Month. Colton Cowser, Baltimore Orioles.
Jeez, dude.
I mean, you feel like all they do is produce Rookies of the Month, essentially, in Baltimore, which is amazing. And then the NL Rookie of the Month is a pitcher that the Padres will be facing in a couple of days.
Very
Shildt Imanaga, who was 4-0 with a 0.98 ERA. Could have been the National League Pitcher of the Month if you really wanted to go that direction, but they gave him the NL Rookie of the Month. And while Jackson Merrill had a hot start, Shota Imanaga was good the entire start to the season.
He's been brilliant.
He'll be the guy to beat for the National League Rookie of the Year award at this point.
Got a little update, too, from Don't Do This earlier. We told you about Pat Bev was kind of rude to a reporter. Well, just saw a tweet from the reporter, Melinda Adams from ESPN. She said, I want to thank everyone for their kind words and support. I'm humbled. Patrick Beverley just called me and apologized. I appreciate it and accept it. The Bucks also reached out to apologize. I've been in news for over 40 years, and kindness and grace always wins.
You know, it's funny because what Pat Bev did was pretty gross. But if you apologize, it's over. It's almost like completely. It's almost as if it didn't even happen.
I love the personal call too,
Right.
instead of a tweet. Hey, sorry about my behavior last night. Like, I love the personal call touch, and you want to you obviously want to assume that he did that and no one forced him to do it. He's a free agent. You know what I mean? So like it's not like the Bucks held his feet to the fire or anything like that. He just hopefully said, man, that was a little bit out of pocket. I'm going to pick up the phone and call
I was
her.
having a really bad day.
I was having a bad day.
Made a fool of myself a couple of times, and now I need to make some apologies.
Are you a good apologizer or a bad one?
Ooh.
I'm not great, and I'm working on that.
I probably am not the best.
My wife says that I'm bad at accepting apologies, too, which is tough.
Accepting apologies?
Yeah. I don't know what it is.
Paulie, I'm sorry I tried to throw you under the bus earlier. It was my fault.
That's
F you.
That's brilliant. That's me. That's my response. You know what? You should be, you sack of ass. That's mine. It's terrible. It's a terrible quality I have. I'm working to get better at apologizing. Hey, sorry about that.
It's hard not to throw in a rationalization or a excuse, though, with the apology, and that really diminishes the apology. I am sorry, but I was tired. I'm sorry, but I had some other things on my mind. I was distracted. I'm sorry, but a real apology doesn't have a but. It doesn't have a qualification.
Yeah, mine are usually, hey, I'm sorry I'm sorry you got your feelings hurt.
Sorry that offended you.
Sorry that offended you. It's a bad apology, man.
My feelings aren't hurt. My stomach hurts.
Your stomach hurts.
It really does.
Dirty
How can
socks.
two tiny little beans, and it's like, oh, it's just painful right now.
They're so potent.
And old now, too.
Yeah, old
it's not
and
like
stale.
we've stored them in
They're not going to taste better if they're fresh. Let's
not
be
taste
completely...
better, but could they be doing more harm to my system because
Potentially.
they're old
Could
and
be
nasty?
Rotten.
I have no idea.
Yeah.
Paulie is going to have the Rindle Report when we come back, and then at 9 o'clock, it's the Manager's Report with Mike Shildt. Looking forward to talking to the skipper of the San Diego Padres. It's all coming up on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. This hour on 97.3 The Fan is brought to you by The Farmer's Dog. Fresh, human-grade dog food from a healthier way to more energy. When you switch your dog's food to The Farmer's Dog, the effects can feel magical. What sorcery is this? None at all. It's just real food made for the health of dogs. Get 50% off your first box at thefarmersdog.com/radio. All right, we will get to a Rhino report. I did see a headline just a second ago. Confirmed via a source, the Dolphins have agreed to terms with wide receiver Odell Beckham Jr.
I thought I just saw the Raiders did.
Wow, that's very aggressive.
Conflicting
He's signing
reports.
with multiple teams at the same time. You'd think there'd be a procedure in place to stop a guy from signing with two teams at the same time.
Maybe I'm mistaken.
Double dipping, maybe? You
Yeah,
know, hey, you know
potentially.
what? Hey, when the games aren't on the same day, I'll play for both teams. You know, we'll practice early in the week with one team.
What team
later
is
in the
it?
week
Did we
with the
figure it
other.
out for sure?
Well, Adam Schefter reposted the one about the Dolphins.
I'll believe Schefter.
Unless he's completely off base, I've got to believe that the Dolphins report is correct.
All right. I'll go with you on that one.
Let's check traffic. Then
honestly couldn't care less.
Paulie's
to be
got
honest
some
with
head.
you.
Yeah, I don't know if anyone should care at
No,
this point.
Don't think so.
In OBJ. No. Paulie's got the round report after traffic on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 97.3 The Fan Traffic Center, here's Kelly Danick.
Traffic is sponsored by the Fish Market, serving the freshest catches from waters near, far, and everywhere in between. Well, guys, no sooner do we clear this accident northbound 5 past 28th Street. Now we got a new one at 28th Street, and this one appears to be blocking the fast lane. Also getting a stalled car moved into the center divide on northbound 805 just before Murray Ridge. Before, after the game, or when they're on the road, join the Fish Market's downtown location for happy hour every Monday through Friday. From 3 to 6, enjoy $2 shuck oysters, appetizer specials, $8 margaritas, and more. The Fish Market's downtown happy hour, Monday through Friday, from 3 to 6. Sounds good to me. I love that place. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben & Wood, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
And get things started here with our today's edition of the Rindle Report.
Now tuned into the greatest.
Welcome to the Rindle Report with Paul Rindle.
Hi, Paul. All right.
Two stories from the world of sports that we haven't gotten to yet.
We'll start off in Major League Baseball.
And one story that you didn't know you needed.
Are you laughing, biatch?
It's the Rindle Report
Hey, Paul, how you doing? Okay, how are you?
on 97.3 The Fan.
Are you ready to bless the mood? I need some help, please.
That was good.
Can I get a yeah? Oh, yeah.
All right. All right.
All right, indeed.
Gentlemen, we will start off. How about the NBA playoffs? Had 2 games yesterday in the Eastern Conference, and both series came to an end. 2 game 6s yesterday. We'll start with the early game. The Pacers absolutely wiped the floor with the Bucks. Now, Damian Lillard did return for Milwaukee, but they're just not. They're not the same team without Giannis. And they lost 120-98, so
they're done.
Indiana moving on to the next round. And then the 76ers and the Knicks, we talked about it briefly earlier in the show. Probably the best series so far in the NBA playoffs.
One of the best series, I think, ever in the NBA playoffs. At
Really
least for a
good.
first-round series.
Every game was really
It was
close.
amazing. I was, looking forward to those games by the end, and they never disappointed.
This game was in Philadelphia. The 76ers looking to force a game 7. They were down, and they were down big in yesterday's game. They came back. They tied the game. They got down by 8 or 10 points again, came back, tied it again late in the game, and the Knicks prevailed 118-115. So the New York Knickerbockers are heading to the next round. Jalen Brunson had 41 points last night.
He is that guy now. He is a
him?
star. Yeah,
He's
he's him.
him.
He's him. There you go.
Yeah.
And Joel Embiid is going to get a lot of criticism for another early playoff exit. I thought he played terrific in the series. I mean, he tried everything to lift
39 and 13
to
yesterday.
lift the team on his back, and they just ran into a really good Knicks team.
It was a
just
7
good
seed versus a
series.
2 seed. I mean,
Yeah.
the Knicks were the better team. Tobias Harris put up a goose egg for the 76ers. So
I saw somewhere that he's making like $37 million or
absurd.
something.
And he didn't do anything in the entire 6 games.
I think they're rid of him after this season.
I think they are too. I believe.
Yeah.
So tonight in the NBA, it's a ESPN doubleheader starting at 4 o'clock. Game 6 between the Magic and the Cleveland Cavaliers. That game is in Orlando. Cleveland has a 3-2 series lead, so they're going to look to close that series out.
But the
on
Magic
road.
won both games at home rather handily. So that one could go 7.
And then after that, Dallas Mavericks are hosting the LA Clippers. Dallas has a 3-2 series lead. They're at home. They would like to put away the Clippers tonight. That's
Big times
off at 6:30.
Big times in Dallas with the Stars and the Mavs both enjoying 3-2 leads.
So I believe their baseball team is the defending World Series champion, and their football team just signed Ezekiel Elliott.
Oh my God! Again,
at running back.
Oh, wow!
Again. Honestly, the Cowboys might be the biggest laughing stock of all their sports
You're
teams
not
now.
wrong, actually. Yeah, which is a pretty incredible thing. They will still get the most coverage, which
Right.
is wild.
But they're in the biggest torture chamber of any of the Dallas teams at the moment, which is something you can almost never say in Dallas.
You're right. You're absolutely right.
Next up, Woodsy actually put this story on my radar, and it's the right video clip, Ben.
You're welcome.
So,
You
love.
think? I mean, let's wait until he plays it.
I actually played it earlier.
Oh, you mean
so.
you checked to make sure
Yeah,
before?
I wasn't going to make that
Did Woods
mistake.
tell you to check to
No,
make
he didn't.
sure?
Sure didn't.
So you just did it for him, and you didn't do it for me.
Right.
Apology rescinded.
Again, you called for a Sarah Lang's video. You sent me a Sarah Lang's video.
Correct.
I played
I know.
said Sarah Lang's
I
video.
know.
That was in our 7 o'clock hour. So we love the draft videos from the NFL, whether it's the guy receiving the phone call or talking
you
to the
got
coach
this?
for the first
So
time.
good, man.
And with those draft videos also comes the combine interviews. Now, the combine was several weeks ago, but you always get the weird questions, right?
They did, like they said one recently. Sean Payton, a guy walked in the room and he goes, "What's in your backpack?" They're always trying
It's
to
so
like.
weird how
it's
these NFL
weird.
scouts
Like,
and coaches treat these college players still at the time.
It's very odd.
They try to like goad them into saying something weird. Like they give them a really weird question to see how they would respond.
Ben, what is in your backpack? Off the top of your head.
There's a folder that I don't use at all.
Why is it in there?
It's basically to protect my laptop when I stick it in there to give it a buffer on both sides.
Whoa.
There are some chargers.
Whoa.
Okay. Like LaDainian Tomlinson?
No, like computer and cell phone chargers.
Okay.
And
Bag
there's this Wi-Fi thing they gave me at work if I need a hotspot.
Okay.
And
Saltines
that's
or
it.
anything?
Oh,
in
there's
there?
a tee. I got an Aztecs tee. San Diego State golf tee.
All
I
right.
don't know how that got in there.
You seem, if I was an NFL GM, I'd say you seem a little disorganized, son.
Fair enough. And
That's
it also has broken zippers so it doesn't close.
Yeah, clearly attention to detail is not something. We're going to move on to the next wide receiver in the draft. because,
Chris says Darren Sproles in that backpack.
Yeah,
well, he would fit.
He would fit.
actually.
A little bump.
me. Well, anyways, Keon Coleman was drafted by the Buffalo Bills. The Bills put out this video. They were
It's
asking
fantastic.
him, what do you like to do
Yeah.
outside of football? Any interests or hobbies? And I loved
This
his
is amazing.
answer.
do you do outside of football?
Chill at the house, golf, bowl a little bit.
You golf?
I ain't no golf. I'm Tiger. Wish he could. I'm not Tiger Woods. I wish I could putt and do all that. Them boys out there shooting 5 under. I ain't doing all that. I'm like TV 5 to hit just to put it in. But I'm gonna go have fun. Like it's controlled chaos. You frustrated, but you can't get mad. Pull a muscle in your back trying to hit the ball. So it forces me to stay calm and just swing. Just have some fun.
I loved it. I thought it was Tiger wish he could.
I'm not Tiger Woods.
He's a hack.
Yeah, he's a
but he
hack.
enjoys the game like most of us.
But he's also
One of us.
He's got the right mentality. Like he says it forces me to stay calm. And if I can't relate, because you hit a bad shot, you swing harder at the next one. Try to hit the ball 400 yards. It's just not going to happen. I thought that was great.
And finally, Airbnb has announced their Icons line of places that you can rent for a vacation. And what this is, I think we've talked about some of these in the past. Like in the past, they've had a house that was built to look like the swamp from Shrek or other movie sets. Big on the movie sets.
Novelty vacations.
Yeah. So the biggest one highlighting this year's Icons line on Airbnb, I think it's free. You have to enter, you win a little lottery, and you get the chance to stay there for a couple of nights. I don't know if either of you have seen the Pixar film Up.
No.
No?
Yes.
So
it's the old guy and the balloons on the house.
Yes.
Yeah.
The old guy with the balloons on the house.
Is it a cartoon?
Yes.
Yeah, it's Pixar.
So was Shrek.
We don't need to name off every animated film.
No, but you said,
Yes.
I'm assuming you can stay in the Up house.
Yes.
Just like you could stay in the
So-
Shrek house. Neither of them are real, though.
In Up, the old man has a home and he decides to go on an adventure for his late wife that she never got to go on the adventure. So he ties a million balloons to his house, and his house lifts up and flies off to the land that he's going to. And so what they did, and I'm throwing it up on the YouTube stream here, is they have a crane holding a small home up in the air with a bunch of balloons tied above it, just like in Up, and you can stay there if you would like.
No.
Bad if you're a sleepwalker. That's not good.
How do you? I mean, so that you obviously enter the house when it's on the ground, and then a
Obviously.
crane pulls you up. No. Who wants to sleep dangling in the air?
I certainly don't.
Nor do I.
That sounds
the crane,
horrible.
yeah, the crane guy's like, I'm taking off. See you later. See you guys in the morning. Hope it goes well. Forget
See you
it.
in a couple days.
Yeah,
Maybe.
see you in a couple days.
I mean, obviously the plumbing can't be attached to anything, so you've got no running water or toilets or anything.
the dumbest.
Just thinking about that.
Some of the other highlights on the Icons line for Airbnb. You can stay at the X Mansion from X-Men 97. They have the Ferrari Museum in Italy. You can stay there.
Just stay in a hotel.
Prince's House from Purple Rain in Minnesota.
All right, now there I would stay.
You could stay there. And then they have other experiences, like you could have a living room performance at your vacation home from Doja Cat, or a private comedy show at your vacation home with Kevin Hart.
Pass.
Does that feed him when he's over
all
there?
of these
or what?
sound
Yeah.
terrible.
You can go to Airbnb.com and try to win a stay at any of those experiences.
I've got this trip that I'm doing. Well, it's not really a trip. It's to LA, but my favorite band's coming in for 3 nights. Well, they're going San Diego, Anaheim, LA. I'm going 3 nights in a row.
Crosses.
No.
Kings of Leon.
The Afghan
Wigs.
Deftones.
Thursday night here in San Diego, Friday night in Anaheim, and Saturday night in LA.
And which one are you going to?
All 3.
All 3.
Back to back to back nights.
3 different venues.
I've never done that before. It's like my version of being a deadhead. Going to 3
Are you
straight
riding on
shows.
the tour bus with them, or do you have to make your own transportation?
I have to make my own transportation, but I think what I'm going to do is we're going to go spend a couple nights in Hollywood, right? And then we'll just double back to Anaheim for the show, take a car or something. And
long drive.
So yeah, I mean, I'll get a car. Like, I'm not going to drive. But I was looking at Airbnb.
It's a long Uber.
It is. I know people. It's fine. I've got I looked at Airbnbs in like Hollywood, and I was like, oh, that's not bad. Like, $300-400 a night or whatever. It was like, oh, it's not bad for a big house. The fees, oh my God. The fees are like double what the cost of a night is.
Like cleaning
fees, and then the Airbnb fee. I was like, bro, you are killing me. So now I was looking at hotels, but I'm not sharing a room. Guys, my buddy's coming out. It's his 50th birthday. He's 50 years old. I'm 48
Didn't you
years
stay
old.
at the Chateau Marmont?
No, I
once?
want to.
No, you want to.
I
But you
priced rooms there. Yeah, we can get a 300 square foot room for like $850 a night. And I'm like, is it worth it? I don't think so. So anyway, the fees are outrageous with Airbnbs these days.
didn't. Maybe you can win it in the Kentucky Derby tomorrow.
Win what?
The money to
The
pay
money
for your
to pay?
trip.
Well,
yeah.
that would entail me betting.
Who do you have in the Kentucky Derby tomorrow?
I have no idea.
If I just gave you the names,
All
if
right,
you
give
just
me
picked
names.
by
I'll pick a
names,
winner.
pick a winner for us here. Dornoch, Sierra Leone, Mystic Dan, Catching Freedom, Catalytic, Just Steel, Honor Marie, Just a Touch, Encino, T.O. Password, Forever Young, Track Phantom, West Saratoga, Endlessly, Domestic Product, Grand Mo the First, Fierceness, Stronghold, Resilience, Society Man, Epic Ride.
I'm going with Honor Marie.
Honor Marie.
Yeah.
20 to 1.
20 to 1, okay.
20 to 1, kind of in the middle.
Epic Ride.
Middle of the pack. Epic Ride at the end, 30 to 1 long shots.
Oh, yeah.
The favorite right now is Sierra Leone, 3 to 1. Actually, Fierceness is 5 to 2. So those are your two
As I'm writing
single
these down
digits
like a moron. I'm not going to bet
odds.
on this.
Definitely lost some of its luster over the
Yeah,
years.
I'd say so.
Like, what were the biggest, like, things that were huge when we were kids that are no longer Indy 500? Used to be huge.
I think it still is for their
I don't think it is.
scene. No?
Well, maybe if you're a
Like
huge auto
Italian
racing
Paul
fan, but
probably loves the Indy.
I don't know.
he
I mean,
does.
Formula One, NASCAR, all of it seems more important now than American open wheel racing. Kentucky Derby just doesn't seem to have the same cachet. Big boxing matches used to be huge. Like Mike Tyson was fighting.
Now
Is he fighting? When is he
he's
fighting?
Jake Paul.
Is it
This
soon?
summer, I think.
I thought it was this week.
Oh, I don't know.
I have no idea.
See, you don't even
I have
know
no
when he's
idea.
fighting. You would have known when he was fighting Buster Douglas, though, in Japan.
Yeah, watch that
Losing.
fight.
You did?
Yeah.
You watched that fight?
Buster Douglas and Mike Tyson?
Yeah.
Oh, God, yeah. I was on HBO or Showtime?
Wasn't
HBO?
that the one that was in Japan?
Yeah.
That he lost? A
Yeah.
stunning one.
My dad and I.
July 20th is that boxing.
Okay, day after my birthday. We watched that fight in our game room, and it was unbelievable watching Tyson lose for the first time ever. It was incredible. I was stunned. I remember that well. That's when it used to be on HBO or Showtime or whatever, and yeah, never forget it, man. There's no way he's losing that fight, and he did.
I'm not big on the boxing or MMA world, but
There's a
that
lot
is
going
something
on
that's
right now.
been in my bucket list is going to like Vegas and seeing the big fight. Like I think that would be fun to go
Fight
to.
night
Fight
in
night.
Vegas.
I watched. Was that last big fight that they had in Vegas? The big one where that guy got just pummeled. And I honestly, I was walking.
The UFC one.
Yeah, the UFC.
Yeah.
I was walking out and I went, man, I don't know if I can handle it. Like the guy just got crushed, man. More power to you if that's your thing. But I miss like the big heavyweight boxing matches. That was something when we were kids. It was everything.
They were.
Tyson
They
Holyfield was everything.
anticipated
Yeah,
for months and months, and
Right.
now just not the same anymore.
It's not. Things change.
They do. Now we're anticipating 3 Padres games against the Arizona Diamondbacks.
And the skipper.
Manager of the San Diego Padres, Mike Shildt, will join us for our weekly Manager's Report on a Friar Friday. That is coming up next to kick off our final hour of the week of Ben and Woods on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. Final hour of Ben and Woods on a Friday. It is a Friar Friday. The Padres are in Arizona getting ready to open a 3-game series against the defending National League champion Arizona Diamondbacks.
Yep.
First meeting. I think this is the last NL West team that they had yet to face. Obviously, they faced the Dodgers, Giants, Rockies. Yeah, so this is it. They'll have seen the entire division after this weekend. Dylan Cease on the mound tonight. We got a 5:40 Eco Water SoCal pregame show, 6:40 first pitch. And joining us right now for our Manager's Report. And the Manager's Report, of course, brought to you by San Diego County Credit Union. It's not big bank banking, it's better. Mike Shildt is back with us here on 97.3 The Fan. Skip, sorry I missed you last week when I was on my my golf vacation, but good to talk to you as always.
Yeah, good talking to you. Hope you hit them straight.
Yeah, do you play any golf?
Poorly.
Poorly. Yeah, that's all right.
I don't play much. I like to play. I like to get out. I'm good for 9 holes, and then I'm over it.
That's the way I feel. 9 to 12 holes is actually the sweet spot. Golf really should be 12 holes, the front 6 and the back 6. I'll go to my grave defending that. Actually, well, how's Arizona treating you this morning?
It's beautiful. Just about to head to the ballpark.
Really, I thought maybe 2 of the most important starting pitching outings you got the last couple of games against the Reds from Yu Darvish coming off the injured list with 5 shutout innings, and then really seeing Joe Musgrove looking like Joe Musgrove. Can you give me some thoughts on what you saw from both of those guys and how I assume you're anticipating getting more of the same from them as they go through the rotation the next time?
Yeah, I mean, we're going to need more of those starts. We expect to get them. Those guys expect to give them. It was tremendous, the timing of it, obviously, and then, having you back. We'll start with him. Just him back, maybe on the mound, that presence, and then the stuff that came with it. Everything hitting, breaking balls were good. Excuse me, and man, it was good to see him pitch up there. And it was, we didn't know what we were going to get relative to the number of bullets he had, so we were thinking, maybe possibly 3 to 4. If he had any stress, we were going to have to adjust. So for him being able to grab 5 was really important. And then it actually set us up also good for the next day with our bullpen. And then Joe was, like you said, Joe was fantastic. He looked like vintage Joe Musgrove, and he was really, really good. What I liked, everything. His fastball velocity was up. He was throwing it where he wanted, throwing ball inside, good curveball, slider. So he was really good.
Talking to the skipper, Mike Shildt, here on Ben and Woods this morning. Something I was interested in hearing about is your job as the manager. You got to manage everybody differently. Everybody, 26 different personalities in there. And, everyone kind of expected Jackson Merrill to hit a little bit of a lull, right? It happens to the best players in the game. There are guys that get sent down to the minors and that have been 10-year veterans. It's crazy. You see it all the time, Skip, but he's scuffling a little bit right now. Conversely, you got Xander Bogaerts, who veteran. He's scuffling as well. What's the difference in the way that you manage those guys and talking them through what's going on with their swing or in their slumps right now?
It's a good question. Yeah, the game's hard, and they've both had moments this year. Of course, Jackson got off to a really good start, and Bogey's, had some moments where he's been really good for us. And, so I think, relative to Jackson, it's well, both is just support, right? Like, look, you got you, go play. You need anything. I think it's more about, like, what are you when you're doing it well? Make sure you have the right mind frame of how you compete when you're in a good place, and that's really, the message and how you deliver it just based on the individual. But with Jackson, being a younger player clearly to the league, it's you just want to make sure that he's not trying to do too much and just appreciates what he's doing and stays with the right approach that allowed him to have the success of the start. But there's not a lot of reminder for him because he really is got his good head on his shoulders and sees the game well, and so you trust what that's going to look like. And Bogey's, heck, for about 10 days there, he was swinging the bat really well and putting up some good numbers. So, he got him a day off before this scheduled day off yesterday, and he'll be ready to go, today. So I got confidence in both those cats.
It's our Manager's Report, brought to you by SDCCU with Mike Shildt, who is in Arizona. Padres opening a 3-game series tonight. And I did hear you say, Mike, earlier this week that you were going to use the off day to check in with your AAA coaching staff on Donovan Solano. So how did that check-in go? And with Manny now, playing third a little more regularly, that gives you some different possibilities at the DH position. What are we going to see kind of going forward here?
Well, we're going to still find out. I didn't have a chance to actually get a hold of them. They're playing yesterday, so a little bit of inability to get a hold of them. So, but I am on the way to the ballpark going to reach out to some guys. But I've heard good, read the reports, and I've known Donovan since he was 16 when he first got in the game in rookie ball. So, I think he's taking good at bats. He's a professional hitter, and it's just a matter of when he's ready, and then we'll figure out what the lineup looks like relative to when he's ready to come up.
All right, Skip. So I had a day off on Wednesday. I took my family to Disneyland, so I didn't get to come in. I didn't get to come in and talk about Mike Shildt, the gambler, and going with Manny. I missed all of it. So I heard your postcard. I heard all of it, but I wanted to ask you because I'm very selfish, and I was like, I got to talk to him about that move. I got to say, when it happened, I thought it was the right. I really did. I love it. Now I'm a huge Manny Machado guy, and I always want him up with the bases loaded. I had never heard of that rule before. I've never seen that happen. The balk thing that happened with Waldron, the game before, I'd never known that they had to announce. These rules are insane, and I watch a ton of baseball. I'd never heard of either of these, but let's talk specifically about that decision. It seemed like you knew exactly what you wanted to do. It was a very decisive decision on your part.
Yeah, it's interesting. In our ball talk a week before, catcher interference had come up in a game. I mean, heck, we've seen it more. It's crazy how often we see it now, but because guys trying to steal strikes and get close. But anyway, so Jim McHugh, our advanced guy, and does a lot of things really well for us. In our ball talk said, hey, just want to make sure everybody knows that's a live play, and keep playing it, and we have the opportunity to choose the result of the play, which was a nice reminder. And then so I just went out to Corey. Let me just make sure I get this straight, which I make sure he was getting it straight too.
Yeah.
Choices obviously take the out and the run. So there's 2 outs and Toddy's a second. Or take the run up the board and bases are loaded. We got 1 out with Manny Machado. And he's like, yep, that's right. And I said, well, we're going to take Manny. It just, I don't know. It just seemed like a pretty easy decision to me. And everybody's heads goes to, oh, he could hit him double play.
Yeah.
He could do anything. Yeah, he could also do on the gap, So I don't know. I just choose to believe in our guys, and in that circumstance, it was Manny Machado with the bases loaded with 1 out. I feel pretty good about it. Yeah, I knew loosely, not exactly the math of the run expectancies, so I had an idea about that supporting the decision a little bit in real time, but it was really about just having confidence in Manny.
I knew what you were going to do. I mean, Manny, that kind of made it easy for you. I thought I had no doubt what you were going to do in that situation. My question, though, this is more of the hypothetical. If you hadn't already been up 1-0 and that run would have given you the lead, would that have changed the equation a little bit?
No.
No.
I think what possibly could have changed the equation if it was the 8th going into the 9th.
Yeah.
Later in the game, okay. We got
less
Suarez
time for the other
in.
team to come back. Yeah.
Correct.
Interesting.
Personnel's got to be a big part of it.
He believes in everybody.
I know. And my co-host here made the point. He said, Mike Shildt can't get on the airwaves and can't do his post-game pressers every day and talk about how much he believes in his players, and you do,
right.
and then not do that. You just can't do it. Like, not that you pigeonhole yourself, but I feel like that's genuinely who you are.
That's right. Yeah, that's very accurate. Now, if one of you two were hitting, we might have.
You don't want me up with the bases loaded, man.
Believe me, you wouldn't have even been able to find us if we were hitting.
Okay. So, it's case by case.
So, Mike, you've been around this team, obviously, more than just this season. You saw the last couple of years, and while many things I think we've seen as fans already this year, some comebacks, some resiliency, some big innings, things that we kind of missed last year, the one thing we're still waiting for, it was that long winning streak. It took forever for the team to win 4 in a row last year. you've gotten the 3-gamer, but what does it take? You had a 17-gamer there with the Cardinals there in
Good
your last
Lord.
season. What does it take besides a little bit of luck for a team to really put together a long streak, and why haven't we seen it yet from your team?
Yeah, it's interesting about streaks for me. I look at it, which I just answer your question, obviously, in a more holistic manner. So, yeah, they're if you play the game consistently in all phases the right way and have which is clearly not easy to do, but what we're looking to do, and that's required to play that consistent baseball. And you're not giving anything away, and you're taking everything you can in competition, and you do that every night, and you're dedicated to that at every phase of the game, you're going to give yourself the best chance to win. You do that consistently enough, you got a chance to stay on the good side of streaks. But really, for me, I think it's a little bit of a trap to think and worry about when are we going to win 6 in a row, 7 or 8 in a row, and 9 in a row. I want to win every game, so we win every game. We put together good streaks. But for me, it's really about winning series. And I talk about this a fair amount, and we're still, we're getting better at it. Clearly, we won 3 series in a row, and we split a series. They got swept, which clearly is not fun, and then won a series. So the consistency of winning a series is important because you want to get better as the game goes, the series goes. And if you think about winning series, well, what the heck happens in the playoffs? You play series. So it's really about figuring out how to win as many series as possible. And then over the course of a season, you do that, your record's going to be in a pretty good place. Yeah, the streaks are nice. We needed it in 21, the 17 in a row. But it was the exact same mantra, thought process, mentality, communication, whatever you want to say that year with, multiple injuries, just trying to find our groove, just keep playing, keep getting better, let's put it together. And people say, why can't you just do that? Well, it's easier said than done. And, eventually we got to a point where we hit our groove. We were beating ourselves with walks, and, we were going to play really good defense that year. We had 5 Gold Gloves. Then we put it together. And, then, of course, also in a longer streak, with the pitching, it's you can't run the same closer out, the same setup guy out. So you have to get contributions from all of your bullpen in big key moments. And that's going to be a challenge to get. And we were able to do that. But the point being ultimately is we just were going to play good baseball consistently. And then wham, it just hit. And we took off and won the 17 in a row. But longer answer to your question, that's kind of how I view the world relative to streaks. And if you're playing that kind of baseball, you stay on the good side of them.
Last thing for me, Mike, we discussed it last hour, and I don't think Player of the Month awards are that important, but they gave the NL Reliever of the Month award to one of your old players, Ryan Helsley. He had a really good month for the Cardinals, but I would argue didn't have as good of a month as your closer did, Robert Suarez. So I wanted to give you a chance to talk about what Suarez has done, especially lately, with the consistency he's given you in the 9th inning and doing it, basically with one pitch a lot of the time, that fastball, and just daring guys to beat them. He's not been able to, no one been able to beat him.
He's been tremendous. I mean, I don't know there's enough superlatives to say it. He's, like you said, he's been an attack, very convicted in what he's doing. He's throwing an elite pitch with command, and just going right at guys. And, he's been able to be a big part of our club. And, it's nice to have a guy down there at the end that you can rely on. He's been tremendous, and it's good for Hells. He's got a nice arm, done a nice job. So it's hard to say, although that, but it's hard to believe somebody was any better than Robert Suarez over the course of the month. But he's been tremendous for us, and I just love his slow heartbeat and how he goes about it and how he gets after it.
Well, good luck on the road trip, Arizona and Chicago. Hopefully a winning one, and we'll talk to you next Friday when you guys come back home, I believe, to face the Los Angeles Dodgers going to be back in town, so that'll be a fun one. Thanks for your time again, Skip.
Yeah, of course. You guys have a nice day.
Appreciate it. You too.
Mike Shildt, manager of the Padres, our manager's report, brought to you by San Diego County Credit Union. It's not big bank banking, it's better. So he would not have gone with us in that situation. He would have taken the run.
I mean, if you're going to make a
Smart
decision
guy.
between me or you, I think he knows probably what to do.
I mean, that's fair.
Yeah.
I'd go with you as well.
Yeah.
Now, if he needed someone to, break 90 on the golf course, I'd hope he'd go with me.
Yeah, 100%.
On that one.
I mean, I'm capable, but it's not going to happen very often.
He's a 9-hole guy like you are.
Yes.
Though. He doesn't want to play 18.
Yeah, it's hard to hold my interest when I start playing poorly.
All right, let's react to that. We've got a couple of segments left. Everyone always enjoys Mike Shildt and those conversations. I do as well. So we'll get to that when we come back. Do not go anywhere. We got also a pair of Legion tickets to give away to wrap up our week. Next year with Bennett Woods after traffic on 97.3 The Fan. All right, thanks again to Padres manager Mike Shildt joining us on a Friday. Paulie, put you on the spot here. Do we know who this afternoon's player guest will be on the Gwynn and Chris program?
It'll be one Jake Cronenworth.
Oh, I feel a little bit cheated on.
You just talked to him last week.
We did last Friday.
But he did hit a grand slam in his most recent at-bat, I believe.
Probably very happy to pick up the phone today.
Yeah.
Yeah. A little easier than when we had him after he grounded into a double play and was like 0 for 3.
Yeah.
I blamed myself. And he blamed a guy in the front row in Colorado that always comes and he always gets knocks.
That's right.
Yeah. You weren't here for that.
And he wasn't there? Or
He wasn't there the day. He wasn't there the day he hit in the double play. He was supposed to be there the day he came on. I think he got a sac fly that day, maybe a knock late in the game.
Jake,
It was the game that they lost.
They lost that, yeah.
I'm assuming we'll be at first base as normal today.
Yeah.
Doesn't sound like Donovan Solano is with the team at the moment or will be in the lineup tonight. Unless Mike Shildt was doing a real coy and trying to, downplay things. Sounds like if they're going to make that decision, it hasn't been made yet. Now, I will say, if they needed Donovan Solano, Major League Baseball teams have the ability to get guys up from AAA very quickly. I don't know if they're in El Paso right now or on the road, but either way, Arizona is a hub stop from just about every spot in the Pacific Coast League.
Could be en route right now.
Yeah, they could make the decision in 5 minutes and have him there long before the game starts. So that doesn't mean that we won't see Donovan Solano. Just doesn't sound like that decision has been made. Or, I had the thought maybe he was already there, sitting in a hotel room, got the call up yesterday and was ready to go. Doesn't sound like at least that has been the case yet. Now,
well, you said if they need him, and as Matthew says, and I agree, they need him. They absolutely need him.
I did hear a little bit of AJ Cassavell on yesterday with Gwynn and Chris, and he did mention that a very valid use of the DH, now that Manny is playing more at third, will be to get some of the regulars off their feet. Xander got a day off on Wednesday. Manny will continue to need probably more regular days off than he usually gets.
Days off or days off from the
days
field?
off from the field, where he'll be the designated hitter. And you haven't really had a chance to get Jake, Tatis, or Kim days off at all this season.
Yesterday was a day off. We're good.
True. I'm not saying today is the day.
Yeah.
But today against Slade. Ciccone, right-hander, correct?
Right-hander.
I mean, I don't know that I want to see Graham Pauly DHing again.
You know who else is? Chris Ello does not want to see him
Wade.
DHing.
Well, certainly not batting fifth. I agreed with Chris yesterday in the roundtable that a lineup, even if you can make it lefty-righty all the way through, putting Graham Pauly right now at the fifth spot just seems to be a mistake. You're putting together some offense early, and he's been a dead spot in the order, and that can change in one at bat. I do understand that.
The 5 spot has been a dead spot in the order for this team the entire season. It was Kim to start.
He was off to a slow start.
And then it was Xander.
Last few days after Jurickson went to the leadoff spot.
It was, I think, Profar's hit fifth. He's been fine pretty much everywhere you've hit him.
For the short time he was there, he was good.
Yeah.
And then it was Pauly.
Yeah. So
not been the best spot in your order.
Yeah.
But the other options are, if Manny's going to continue to bat cleanup, you do think, lefty would be a good option if they can do it. But then who are your other options?
Paul says, "Man, you guys love days off." I don't know that. Like, the only getting Manny off his feet from third base because of his elbow surgery, that makes sense to me, absolutely. But he will be in the lineup to swing it.
But moving Merrill up as a lefty, he's slumping.
He's slumping right now as well.
Wade doesn't scream 5-hitter.
No.
To you also, which just doesn't leave you with a lot of good protection options for Manny Machado right now. As he's heating up, he's going to see less to hit until someone can start hitting behind him in the order. That could be a problem. Campy? I mean,
maybe.
He's been the most consistent. He's right-handed, but maybe you think about him in the 5 slot at some point.
Yeah, I don't know lineup construction from a hole in the ground. I really don't. Every time I see him roll a lineup out, it usually makes sense, but I understand the logic behind most of the moves. You can only do what you have the players to do. Like you're hamstrung in that you don't have a super deep bench, and those days where you're running out 3 guys that are platoon guys or bench pieces, defensive replacements. When they're all in the lineup at the same day, that's the one I go, this is tough.
It did feel for a while like you had a super deep lineup. When Profar and Merrill were both hitting, like 7-8, and they were hitting really well, you felt like, ooh, this is a lengthy lineup. Now that Merrill's gotten cold and Profar's been moved to the leadoff spot, all of a sudden it looks like the bottom of the order is kind of not producing, and there's not a lot there at the moment. Now that changes. Xander starts hitting, that changes. If Paulie ever did hit the way we've seen him hit at spring training and the minor leagues and the fall league, he would be a great guy for the bottom half of your order. But he's not there yet.
Were you surprised to see Ha-Seong Kim in the 8-hole the other day?
A little bit.
I was too, a little bit.
But then I would always be excited when he's up.
Correct.
Like, okay, we got a shot here in the 8th spot.
And I think what he was trying to do was do the righty-lefty matchup, and then also make sure you didn't have black hole, Tyler Wade at the bottom of your lineup. And again, to Tyler's credit, he finds a way to get on in big spots. He's done that all year, but he's a bench piece. He's not a guy that should probably be starting every single day. Then again, I also felt that about Jurickson Profar to kick off the season. A $1 million deal was like, oh, cool, this will be a nice little piece for the Padres to have. He's been outstanding in every way. So he's your leadoff hitter right now, and I don't think you tinker with that at all.
And despite what feels like a struggling offense, I will point out again, Padres are 3rd in baseball in hits. The Padres are 3rd in baseball in runs scored.
Yep.
The Padres are 9th in baseball in home runs. They are 4th in total bases. They are 8th in walks. I mean, all these numbers scream great offense, and yet none of us really feel it like fans. It feels like they've got a lot of holes in the lineup. The guys are struggling, and yet the numbers don't really back that up.
And we did speak about this week that we would like a few more feasts instead of the feast or famine. It's been mostly famine. So, I mean, with
a little bit of feast.
With a little bit of feast.
It hasn't really torched their numbers over the course of the first month of the season.
It really hasn't. So, yeah, the pitching is going to be clutch this weekend and preventing runs, playing crisp, clean defense. You do feel like you have enough offense in Arizona to get the job done in any iteration. But the Solano deal, it makes too much sense to have him come up and be your DH right now. I don't know. I don't know what the holdup is with some of these moves, but I'm not going to pretend that I do.
All right, new piece from Ken Rosenthal on whether the Padres – and you don't want to hear this, could be sellers at the trade deadline, who they may be selling.
It's May 3rd.
I know.
Jeff Passan yesterday.
Yeah, and now Ken Rosenthal today. I don't want to necessarily end the week on a bummer note. Well, we still have things Ben likes.
That's true.
To end the week on a positive note. That's all
we
coming
should play
up.
the song instead.
Next, with Ben and Woods on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. I forgot to mention to Mike Shildt, and by forgot, I actively chose not to mention to Mike Shildt the suggestion I received yesterday from Steve in Coronado. And I will credit Steve being a very enthusiastic and detailed Padres fan. Woods, I got this it's kind of an email that he posted as a mention on my Twitter feed, but Steve is convinced that the Padres are terrible bunters, and they need to improve. He says, currently it's embarrassing when the Padres hitters even attempt to lay one down. They simply look amateurish and do not have the skill developed. Here are my grades for Padres hitters attempting to lay down a bunt. Yeah. Followed by a remedy. Hang on. Jacob John Cronenworth, F. Ha-Seong Kim, F. Manuel Arturo Machado, F. When have you ever seen Manny try to lay down a bunt?
Why in the F would you have Manny Machado
I don't know.
lay down a bunt?
Kyle Harris Higashioka, F.
What's with the middle names?
Luis Gennaro Campusano, F. Xander Jan Bogarts, F. Maybe it's Jan, probably.
Jan.
Jurickson Bartholomeus Rofar, D. Fernando Gabriel Tatis Jr., D. Jose Enrique Azocar, D. Eggy Rosario, D. Tyler Dean Wade, C. Jackson Peter Merrill, I have not seen him try. Graham Austin Pauly, I have not seen him try. So those are the grades. Now here comes the remedy. Are you ready? Padres hitters are woefully inadequate with this essential skill of laying down a bunt, but it can be developed. Here's the remedy. Every day at Petco Park, each Padre hitter develops the skill of bunting the baseball for 20 minutes. On the road, each Padre hitter develops the skill for 10 minutes. Each time they are graded with those grades with trends sent to the manager, Mike Shildt. At Petco Park, 25 pitches from the machine, 5 102-mile-an-hour fastballs.
Are you trying to
5
kill me?
sliders,
You're
5
trying to kill
curveballs,
me.
5 sinkers, and 5 breaking pitches. Each bunt executed, the player gets 4 points, with 100 points being the highest grade. On the road, 12 pitches from the machine, 4 102-mile-an-hour fastballs, 4 sliders, 4 curveballs. Each bunt executed, the player gets 8.3 points, with 99.6 points being the highest grade.
I hate you.
How dare you, dude?
In the
My
beginning,
blood, you should see my
in the
heart
beginning,
rate
they're
right now.
going to be wearing protective gear because you can get seriously injured learning how to bunt, especially with 102-mile-an-hour fastballs from the machine. Later on, though, without protective gear.
Sounds like a good use
In
of time.
only 2 months, we will see a new dimension of winning on this team, courtesy Steve in Coronado.
It's weird because you would think that the good teams in Major League Baseball would, if it bred. Here's the thing about baseball, Steve. They know what they're doing, and they know the best the way to score runs. The easiest is to not give away outs. Giving away outs inherently is pretty dumb. Now, there are exceptions to every single rule. There really are. There are exceptions. There are times when a sacrifice bunt potentially is needed. The San Diego Padres are currently tied for 6th place in sacrifice bunts with 4 this season. The worst team in baseball, the Chicago White Sox, have the most with 8. The Cardinals have, they're tied with the Cardinals at 8. Then the Pittsburgh Pirates, then the New York Mets, then the Oakland A's, then the team we face tonight, the Arizona Diamondbacks with 4. It may be, in your opinion, a lost art form. There's a reason that it's a lost art form, because it doesn't work enough to make it to where you would want to go spend hours and hours and hours and hours taking 102 mile-an-hour fastballs learning how to
And while
bump
I
them.
do appreciate Steve's detail, here's where it loses me. If you did that 20 minutes per day, that's 2+ hours a week that you're spending just on bunting. When I think there's actually more important things you could be doing. Analyzing video of the pitchers you're facing, other skills that you could be working on that are actually more valuable right now in baseball than devoting that much time toward bunting. Remember, all these guys, they're playing 162 games or close to it. It's an exhausting season. And to add this to what is already an exhaustive schedule, I think would do more damage than good, even if you did improve your bunting skills overall.
Ben says he appreciates Steve's passion for the game. I bet Steve hates the DH as much as I do. I don't know that. I'm one of the most passionate baseball fans I know. And I like to bunt. Why? Because I'm a terrible hitter. Bunting is for terrible hitters. On no planet should the first 7 names you read ever squared a baseball.
Never. Should Fernando Tatis Jr.
Never
ever lay down a bunt the rest of his career?
Not a sacrifice bunt, Paulie. If he looks up and the third baseman is playing deep short and the shortstop's standing behind second base and third base is wide open, drop one down, get you a knock. I have no problem with that. No problem with that. But sacrifice bunting and giving away outs is dumb. It's dumb.
I also have to throw in the extensive scoring system, which I'm always a big fan of complicated scoring systems, but when each bunt is worth 8.3 points with a maximum of 99.6 being the highest grade, Steve, you might be getting a little too in the weeds here in terms of the bunting practice. If you're going to ask Tyler Wade, and Tyler Wade has laid down a few for base hits.
He has.
Yeah, go ahead, practice it a couple of times. I'm sure he does. He tries to drag him. He's been praised for that skill. You gave him a C. I would think Mike Shildt would give him a much higher grade on what he does. It's still hard to do. Even if you practice it against the guys that have a ton of movement and deception and how hard they throw, it's never going to be an easy skill. This is not the old days where the fastest fastballs were 91 and they could bunt them with ease, in 1968. It's always going to be hard, no matter how much you practice, to bunt a cutter that is coming in at 97 and dancing through the zone. It just isn't as easy as it was when we were growing up. And that's just the truth.
Well,
and so now when you try to lay down a bunt, you're also not only are you giving up an out, but you're trying to do something that is actually really hard against really good pitchers, and you may not even get the bunt down to begin with.
Yeah, again, time and place, certainly. And you've seen it, it's not like they haven't tried it and sacrificed. And I think it's led to one run this season, if my memory serves, maybe one. So 1 for 4, in that regard. Love the sac fly. I love a productive out. A productive out is fantastic, but giving one. Here, take this. I'm going to give you this one. And you only have 27 to play with.
But, a sac fly, if it's hit really well, can be a home run.
That's exactly right.
A bunt that's hit really well may turn into a single
Jerson
once out
almost
every
bunted
10
one
times.
for a double the other day. But again, that drove me nuts, too. The guy's 3 for 3, and he's up there, and he's laying one down. Look, element of surprise, I get it. Like I said, time and place for everything. But when I look at the San Diego Padres, or really any baseball team, the last thing I think of is, we got to get some guys in here who can lay a bunt down. Really, I mean, honestly, it's just it's not going to win you more ball games. And if it did, they would do it more. Honestly, that's what it boils down to. They like winning
as much or more than we all do.
100%.
They want to win.
It's more important to them in every different facet, financially, for everything.
Prestige, everything.
Yes, you want to win games. Yeah. If they thought it would help. That practice,
they'd be light. They'd be doing it more.
They'd be doing it more.
They'd be doing 2 hours a day on bunting if they thought that was the difference in making them win.
There is no question about it.
All right, who does Ken Rosenthal have the Padres possibly trading? Get to that and some things Ben likes after our last check of traffic here on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 97.3 The Fan Traffic Center, here's Kelly Danick.
Things are starting to wind down pretty nicely around the county. Just a couple things to point out here. Hit and run crash on westbound King Freeway before the 125. Car and box truck involved. They're over to the right shoulder. And in the North County, another hit and run southbound side of the 15 past Via Rancho Parkway. Several vehicles involved in this one. Appears to be mostly over to the right shoulder. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben & Wood, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
So in his new column this morning in The Athletic, Ken Rosenthal talks about who could be surprise sellers at the trade deadline. Teams you're not really thinking about right now. Like last year, the Mets were a surprise seller and got rid of a bunch of their players at the trade deadline. And as he goes through the column, he gets to the NL West, and he says, not the Rockies. Wouldn't be a surprise if they sold, and they don't really have anyone to sell that anyone's interested in anyway. So he starts going through the other teams, like the Giants. He goes, after all they've committed, they're pretty much invested. They can't really sell at this point. The Diamondbacks, well, they're probably going to get healthy and expect to be contending. If everything went wrong for them, then maybe they'd sell off a little, cash to save some of their investment, but they're probably not selling either. Dodgers, no, not going to happen. So that leaves him with the San Diego Padres. The thinking here is that at least one team in the NL West will flop. The Padres, considering their lack of depth, are operating with perhaps the thinnest margin for error. Their massive investments in Manny Machado, Fernando Tatis Jr., and Xander Bogaerts perhaps will make them more likely to buy than sell. But payroll was a concern all offseason, and they could move Dylan Cease when he is still eligible for 2 pennant races and possibly get back as much as they traded
maybe
him
even
for.
my least favorite segment we've ever done.
I'm
Zach
just
Bunts and trading Dylan Cease.
And that was Ken Rosenthal's take as to possible surprise sellers and guys who could be on the market this summer in Major League Baseball. Doesn't mention anyone else that the Padres would be talking about trading this summer.
It's like they're willing it to happen. Listen, I hope my point. Did you get my point yesterday in the roundtable? Chris Ella was talking about, I need to see, 50, 60 games from these guys to see if they're worthy of going out and adding a bat or whatever it may be. And my point, and I wasn't trying to be a jerk at all. I hope that nobody took it that way. My point is, when you commit long-term to several players on your team, I feel like you're kind of always in it. If the Padres are hanging around, I just feel like this team is going to constantly be looking to add. Now, look, if we're out of it and you don't see yourself re-signing a Dylan Cease, okay. I mean, it's not.
You got him for next year.
You got him for next year too.
But Kim, he's a free agent. You'd be talking about him if you're out of it, for sure.
Yeah, if you're out of it. But if the Padres hang around, I don't need to see some 10, 12, 15-game winning streak to think, this team needs to add. No, they need to add, period. If they're hanging around, yes, I'll be pissed if you don't. And A.J. Preller is really, last year, really the first year he's ever bought really around the margins and didn't make a huge splash at the deadline.
We'll let Annie and Elston tackle the rest of this. They're coming up next. I don't know if it's the song or just the regular version, but
I like the song.
Let's finish with some things. The AI song version of Things Ben Likes.
I like a juicy, sweet strawberries. I like a good marching band. I like a good thin pancake. I like a Nickelback song or two. I like a barbecue chicken pizza. I really like those seeds. I like a midnight buffet. I kind of like the smell of soft scrub, like more of a small derriere. I like cake, I like it. I like both the hamburger and a cheeseburger. I like clocks, I like how I've kind of set up my life. I like grasshopper pie, oh no. I like it creamy. I like good firm banana. I like just looking at the sea. I like moist. I like curry. I like big butts, I like fried Brussels sprouts. I like more of a firm feel like popcorn. I like Nordstrom. I do like musicals. I like pepperoni. I like nice hotels. I like Nick getting a start today.
Especially when the Padres
I
beat
like
him.
Nets, Steph Curry. Steph Curry, I like that song. I like Squirt.
Whoa.
I like steak, I like San Diego State. I like a straight up Paul Abdul. I like the
Now, we played that earlier in the show, and you're like, we're talking about like this is created with AI, and you just give them a prompt.
Yeah, can you change the format?
Yeah,
though?
Woods was like, I want
style.
I want 90s grunge, man.
really?
Well, ladies and gentlemen, ask and you shall receive.
Like a juicy sweet strawberry.
Just like Nickelback.
I like a good marching band.
It's identical to Nickelback. The words are a little better and deeper.
song or two.
Barbecue chicken pizza. I really like those seeds.
God, it sounds just like them. Holy smokes. Pretty scary.
It is really
Pretty.
I don't like it.
I really don't either. It's unsettling.
All right, we will be back Monday morning at 6 a.m. or maybe just pretty decent AI versions of the three of us will be back Monday morning at 6 a.m. and you'll never know. We're off on the golf course and someone else is
I'm sure that's
handling our show at some point.
Working on that right now.
Do we still get paid? Probably not. That's the problem. All right, Andy and Elston are coming up next. It is a Friar Friday continuing. Jake Cronenworth later on with Gwen and Chris for Our executive producer and imaging director, Paul Reindl. For Stephen Woods, I'm Ben Higgins. Have a great weekend from all of us at San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. So long, everybody.